Oh, loud. Hello, it's me again on another Monday. How crazy is that? Very bizarre, I know. How are you all doing? I'm doing okay, so far. And I will now pour my beverage because I have not had anything to drink all day, really. So, a shared experience, only if by proxy. How's it going? How are you all today? I made it a bit of time to work out which country I'm in or what year it is. But we'll get that together. So, sup, sup. How are you doing? Good, good. Lots of goods. Do we have some tank gameplay? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Got a cold? Not too good? That's very much not too good. I hope you feel better soon. That sucks. Like, ever since moving to Germany, I haven't really got ill very much. Only like when I had my vaccine. And I think that's probably just because I've not really gone outside very much, so I haven't really had the opportunity. So I've been kind of lucky in that respect. But I hope you feel better soon. Uh, Hello, Phil, there on YouTube. How you doing? Hello, hello. Hello, Potato. How is it all going? 10-4? Indeed. Hello, people. F14, F14, F14. F14, standard. That's how you're in the correct universe. Um, yes. How is it? We'll wait for some people to appear, and then yeah, I did some tank gameplay, which I will pop on in a bit. It's basically just like footage from my last video that I put in order. It should be fine, I think. We'll see. Hopefully. Hopefully you also can't hear the construction work outside. They're doing some, I don't really know what they're doing, but they're, well, I don't know, something. Presumably out there, lots of loud noises, but we'll see. Um, Good old YouTube chat. Yes, my favorite. F14, F15, F16, X25, A10, F14, F14, F15, F14. That's the standard YouTube experience that we've got going on. Hello. Thank you, Trap420, for that comment there. Hello. Um, yeah. No, I like YouTube chat because me and YouTube chat have a very special connection with each other, and they know, they know what to do. I know what they do, and we have a sort of symbiosis. We're like a siphonophore, you know. Siphonophores are really cool. Not really related to War Thunder, but they're like these giant organisms that live like in the deep sea. They can be like 40 meters long. How cool is that? And like they're like colony organisms. So it's like a bunch of tiny things all together in the same place. So one of them like eats stuff, one of them moves around. That's kind of cool to me. I like that. Um, but yeah, yeah. SR71. Yeah, they're evolving. They know. How far can we push at YouTube? What weird stuff can we request today? Let's go. Absolutely fantastic. Um, I always forget to introduce what this actually is. I don't know why I do that, but I always forget. Hi, this is basically a show we do on Monday where I sit here for 2 hours, sometimes more, depending on the vibe, if there's lots to talk about. And we'll talk about War Thunder. If you have any questions about how it works or any advice you want for the game, I've played an embarrassingly long amount of time in the game, and as such, I know how most things work. There's some things I'm not like hyper confident on, but for the majority of things, I kind of get it. So if I can give any advice, what premium to use, what lineups, vehicle, how to make it work, etc., I can do my best, and that's what this is chiefly for. Although it doesn't need to be War Thunder. If you want to talk about other stuff, that's okay too. We can also do that. It's not like hyper anal in that respect, where it has to be about one particular thing. So yeah, we're all good. Hello, and I will put some stuff on. Thanks. It's basically my YouTube video, but segmented a bit with some extra clips. But yeah. Uh, Hello, Sir Jet a lot. Good afternoon. My voice is already giving up, which is not a good sign because I've barely done anything today. I did go to the government office to pick up my second ID. They didn't ask for my first one back, so now I have two IDs, although one of them is counterfeit. So, well, not really counterfeit. It's just not really correct. Um, but I think I can still kind of use it. No one checks because it's Germany, but you wouldn't have thought so. But that's how it goes. Um, Christ. Okay, hang on. I need to. I was about to say I need to lubricate my throat, but that's a. But I said it anyway, so it doesn't matter. The negative doesn't matter. I'm gonna drink a bit and then we'll talk about stuff. Hang on. Yeah. As you can tell, my brain is not exactly a peak today, or in most days, really. But I mean, you take what you can get, really. Um, have you tried the Marder A3? I haven't yet, actually. I've seldom played either of them, really. I just haven't really had too much time. Since the updates come out, I've not really played too much. I've mostly just been working on my YouTube video, which is kind of annoying. I've played a little bit now, so yeah, but I haven't played it, the Marder, the new Marder, very much. Not sure how it's really going to be at 8.0. I mean, thermals are good, but I mean, judging by what you're fighting around that BR, it's going to be relying on the missiles a little bit, which a bit finicky. But we'll have to see. I'll give it a go myself soon. Um, what lineups would you use for the upcoming crafting event? I think it would sort of depend on the rank particulars and how that works. Usually, at least for me, I just go with something I kind of enjoy playing and something I don't get really like that bored of. Um, there's not really a perfect answer for it because if you're playing something like really competitive or like a brainlet lineup like the KV-1B, a Capture T-34, like Panzer IV-H, and etc. It's like, yeah, that's pretty good, but then everyone's going to be playing around that as well, so you are going to still be playing against quite good players. So it's kind of tricky. There's no, I guess, ultimate correct answer for that kind of thing. So yeah, it's kind of tricky. So honestly, I would just recommend something quite versatile, something that works on most maps, most lineups, most BRs, etc. That way, if you're playing something that playing heavy tanks that generally rely on their BR to a stronger extent, you are going to be limited on some maps and some battle ratings, which is never a good thing. So make something that's kind of versatile, is what I would say. Something where you have an option in up tiers, and that's really a good baseline. Apart from that, it's just something you like playing, really. Russia 4.7 are quite good. 4.3 as well, quite decent. It's a decent BR to play around, and you've got some of the like 5.0 to like 6.7 US lineups. Those are quite good as well. I usually go with something like that, or just play some little hybrid fighters in arcade. That can be quite fun as well. Used to do that. Are you wearing a wig? Your perception is not very good. Um, yeah, well, the 264 can be quite good for that kind of thing. I mean, it's probably not the most interesting thing in the world, but if you want to just sort of pop a film on your other monitor and then just press spacebar a couple of times, it does kind of work. Um, mm, mm, mm. Sorry, YouTube chat, I've missed a couple of you there. Um, normal sail machine? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark? Yep. Um, what's your favorite main battle tank in the game? Huh. I'm not sure really. I don't really play the sort of highest tier that much. Uh, what would my favorite MB2 be? Hmm. I don't know. I quite like the challenges because I don't know. I like that they're not really incredibly mobile. I feel like it sort of puts me in better positions, and I sort of like waiting for people in top tier. So I think I'll probably quite like the challenger. Plus, I have my own special one because very very special. But yeah, I don't think I like it based on its functionality. I just like the way it looks, and I think it's kind of cool. So that's probably my favorite, but not exactly in well, not exactly in function, I suppose. Um, have you seen the new foliage bushes? A couple of them are useful. Yes, some of them are quite good. I like the pine ones. They're quite good. Um, yeah, some of them aren't like that great. The banana leaves look a bit weird, but I quite like the others. Uh, Picks Challenger because of British. Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm not really that sort of like hyper about British stuff. I just like it because it's not the best one. I mean, at least for this game, like I don't like playing stuff that's like really good all the time. It just kind of, I don't know, it gets boring after a while. You are goddamn huge. Yeah, man. Look at me. Usually I'm like this, but now I'm like this. Crazy how that works. Yeah, I just sort of make myself larger when there is only one person, which is okay, I think. Yes. Anyway, Should I equip premium Tiger 2 and normal Tiger 2, or just premium? Uh, if you have space, yeah, we'll use both. I mean, the Tiger 2, even in up tiers, is great. I think it's, again, it's a vehicle that can be quite difficult to use on certain maps and BRs if you're not really that confident with the game. But in general, it's a really really versatile vehicle, and I mean having two of them is pretty good. I mean, if you don't have like the Panther 2 and the KC 105, then yeah, having both definitely works. Absolutely. Add bean tank. What tank's the bean tank? Quantify this for me. Um, T50 and 7.7 way too OP. That's a YouTube moment. Um, will France ever get a tech tree BR? Maybe. I have no idea. I think probably at some point. But I don't know. I'm certainly not the person in charge of adding stuff. But I think it's probably not unlikely at this stage. Excuse me. Yes, I think so. Any advice on playing the AMX 30B2 and the Brennus? Um, well, I mean, they're vehicles that suffer in their reactivity because they're not exactly great on the move. No stabilizer, of course. So if you meet something on the move, they're going to get an accurate hit on you first, which is not that good for you, presumably. But they are vehicles that, with the thermals and the dart round and the 20, they do have a lot to offer. But they are a little bit outclassed aggressively in that sense. So the main thing to really keep in mind if you are struggling with it is to try and engage from a static position, really, because that way you're sort of removing the biggest negative aspect of that vehicle. I mean, armor, of course. I mean, it's not really even worth mentioning at that BR for the type of vehicle that it is. But in terms of staying alive, you're really going to want to stay still from engaging. So you have the laser rangefinder, you can snipe, and the dart round still works quite well at that range. So the aim really should be to get yourself to a good position rather than press W until you meet an enemy. And I think that's a good kind of first baseline to hit for playing a vehicle like that, because otherwise you are probably going to struggle a little bit when it comes to being aggressive like that. I mean, you can, even without a stabilizer, knock out a vehicle with one, but it's not reliable, and it mostly depends on the enemies you're fighting. If you're fighting someone not very good, then you can probably beat them. But it's seldom something to rely on at all. I'm going to breathe now. I often forget. Also, look, the mug's not being completely decimated this time. How cool is that? Well, truly evolving. Do War Thunder gonna bring some of the event vehicles back? Maybe at some point. I think they somewhat they come about sporadically, um, either on the marketplace in some form as a sort of secondary reward for some events, or in the boxes, etc. So it can be a bit tricky. Um, a bit tricky to kind of get things like that back because we already have a lot of them. But in any case, I think that probably we'll see some. Some we won't. I think some are sort of quite old now and will probably stay unobtainable. But a handful will probably come back now and again. Like in the War Bonds for the War Thunder's birthday, there's usually a couple in there. So we'll probably get something similar. What's your advice with the 8-3 France lineup? True Suffering and War Thunder? Yeah, well, the tricky thing really is that a lot of the vehicles all have the same weakness, which is, lack of stabilizer, really. And their CAS is not exactly exemplary either. The 30mm Mystères can be pretty good. I kind of like those, but they're hardly the best vehicles at the tier, especially when compared to the G91s, etc. And I think that's really the tricky thing, because they don't really have a reliable frontline vehicle in the sense of having something that can go toe to toe in up tiers. The MX-30s, until they get either the premium or the 32 or 40 with a stabilizer, they can't really fill that role, which is a little bit tricky. Which means that you will be forced into situations where you are at a reactive disadvantage, which is kind of tricky. So I think it's a lineup that sort of bears with being selectively passive, because you have these instances where you will need to be aggressive, like push into the map, etc. But it obviously depends on what map and BR you're getting. And other instances, you can't really do that, especially if you're trying to push in on the first wave, where you're going to be meeting things with stabilize. They're going to have that extra second on you, and that's a pretty big detriment. Again, you can beat those enemies, but depends on the competence of the enemies you're fighting, which you can't really counter in a way. So I think for that kind of lineup, how I'd probably approach it is trying to be quite passive from the offset. I would sit at the back, snipe a little bit, and then when you've kind of judged that the lines of the enemy's advance are more spread out, then you can afford to push in because you won't be meeting enemies head on. You'll be getting onto the flank. And the MX-30s do quite well in that environment. They've got very reactive turret drives. They're very quick. Rounds are great. The 20 mils as well can knock off tracks and barrels and even knock out some tanks on the side anyway. So that's an environment that works for it. But you can't, roll out at the start of the match and expect to get that every single time. So it does pay to be a little bit more passive at the start and then adapt and move in after that. And that's probably what I would do. But I haven't played them very much recently. It's been a while since I've played a lot of France. But I kind of like them. The B2, for whatever reason, I really like. I don't really know why, but I remember some good times with that one. Just about. Um, sorry, YouTube again. I've missed a lot here. I've already seen this video, but I know I haven't seen this video. WTF? Okay. Uh, any advice on how to get a GF? Well, it depends. There's many particulars to this, and a lot of it. I mean, you usually get a lot of people say, "Well, just kind of be you," but I mean, you gotta be you, but it's how you approach it. You don't want to be someone else, but you need to kind of find some essence of relatability. And it's all about clicking. And there are things that you kind of click with people, and I think it's important to be. This is a whole thing. This is a whole going to go way off the rails, but it pays to. Well, the way I want to word it is be yourself, but only in the sense that you are not really becoming a kind of. The way I always word it is a kind of a vessel for like an idea or something. In that if you base your personality around like something you like if you really like anime, and your personality is that you like anime, then people who don't like that can't really get anything from you. They can't really relate to you in any way. So I think a lot of fandom and things like that are kind of tricky. So when you're kind of meeting people or like trying to get a GF or a BF or whatever, it's good to kind of not pigeonhole yourself in that sense, because sometimes if I meet people and it's like all they talk about is one kind of thing or like identity they're in or kind of group they're in, then it's difficult to empathize if you're not immediately part of that group, because it's like, okay, then we don't exactly have a huge connection there. Also, hello Tiger, thank you for the raid. How are you all doing? Hello to you. Hope you're doing well. How was your stream? It's very nice to see you on this quite gloomy Monday here today, but very nice to see you here. How are you doing? We're talking about how to get a girlfriend. Quite relevant to War Thunder, as you can tell. But yeah, I think that's something to keep in mind. Is that you don't pigeonhole yourself. You are your own person with lots of different complexities and avenues to expand upon. You're not just someone who likes a thing, or you're not just someone who is this thing or whatever. There's so much more to you, and kind of being versatile and much like a good Sherman, be versatile with your relationships and your friendships, and that's how you kind of attract people. I think you got to be more than one thing, and I think that's where a lot of people fall down. In the first place, do you even need a girlfriend? No, I don't think you do. You can easily have a boyfriend, or whatever you like. It's not a requirement. Whatever you prefer. Hello, tea and gin, a very nice combination of which I've had together many a time on many a gloomy Monday. But I'm doing okay. I'm still a bit sort of unsure about what continent I'm in right now. It was a busy morning. I had to go to the government office, and then had to go to the post office, and they didn't know where my package was, and I've lost all my stuff, which kind of sucks because DHL are kind of garbage. Didn't like the guy who like founded DHL fake his own death in like Vietnam to get away from paying tax or something. I remember that. Something weird about that. I had a gloomy Monday too. I need to run to pick up my car from the garage. Why did I say garage? It's garage in my language, my accent. I don't know. Uh, oh man, that sounds kind of stressful. I hope it all goes well. Um, yeah, and I hope it's not too expensive. That sounds kind of bad, but yes, I hope that all goes well. And thank you again for the raid. Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate my beanness. I don't know. I appreciate it very much, as always. Always nice to see you around. Very much appreciate. Monday's been okay. Walk dog around the park. Very nice. Tell me about your dog, please. This is a hostage situation, and I will not let you leave until you describe your dog to me. Sounds a bit sinister when I word it like that, but hopefully not too much. Be content with yourself first. If you're not happy with yourself, then a partner won't help. Quite so, yes. Very much. I think it's fine to an extent to not rely, but kind of accept happiness from other people. I think it's kind of disingenuous to say that you should never do that, but having it as your main source of like, well, happiness in general is not really a good thing because when it goes away, then you've got nothing. It's you need to have your own comforts and your fallbacks. It's like having a set of cushions you can sit on. You can't just have one because if it goes away, then you've got nothing. So there's lots you need. Hello, Ryan. How you doing? 5-year-old black cocker spaniel named Stan. Hello, Stan. Suppose he can't hear me, but that's pretty cool. Thank you for this. I've now imagined what the dog looks like, and that's pretty good. That I can respect. Yes, relationship advice with War Thunder in chat. Quite so. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't like just talking about War Thunder on these because, I mean, I don't know. It's like, I don't know, it feels kind of robotic to just be like, we're only allowed to talk about this one thing here and nothing else. I'm not really too hyped about that. He's at the groomers now, but I'll tell him you said hi. Very cool. Very cool. Elxie, can you give me tips on how to stay motivated in uni? What are you studying? Give me deets. You got a catto? Your pug is laying. There's so many animals here. This is brilliant. I got a bigger dog. This is awesome, dude. This is like a pet stream, except I can't really see any of these pets, which is a shame. But I'll just imagine them in my head, like Joanna Newsom when she sings. I need advice on not how to swear at people in chat and get chat banned. Well, I don't really know. I don't have a. I don't know. I don't really talk in chat anymore. Sometimes I say really vague things to if someone recognizes me, but I don't I don't really say much. Um, I don't know really. I usually like if the game's annoying you, I always just say like go do something you can't fail at for a bit, like go wash up or like tidy something in your room because it's like a little positive thing that you're doing and it's you can't fail at doing that and it makes your brain happy. Well, if your brain's like mine, I guess. Um uh Hang on. Sadly my cat does solo action. That's not good to hear. I hope you're okay. That's quite sad. Um Yeah, I've never really had like a sort of large pet like that. I've only ever had like fish and stuff. But I hope you're okay. That's not a good moment. I'm sorry to hear. Where are you from? Like where are you born? I don't know why I said that like that. I'm from the UK. I was born in Canterbury, I think. I don't know. I was there, but I wasn't exactly conscious. Um, Ow, my chest. That was not a good noise. Hopefully you couldn't hear it. Um, how do you not get angry by playing War Thunder? Well, I mean, with me at least, like, if I'm ever like, well, I don't really get annoyed much anymore. But like back in the day, or whatever, if I was noticing that I was getting annoyed, I'd know that I wouldn't play very well if I was annoyed, and I'd just do something else for a bit, and that really kind of helps. And I think a lot of it is just knowing when to stop. It's like gambling, you know. If you're kind of on like a downward slope, it's like cease, kind of thing. And I think that's I mean obviously it's easy to say that, especially with something like War Thunder, where it's like if you lose, you want to end on a high. But a lot of it is literally just finding that moment to be like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go do something else now. But it's having that other thing to do, which is really important. It's easy for me to sit here and just say that like it's easy because it often isn't. But yeah, I think a lot of it is treating. It's how you like approach the game because if you approach the game like a task to kind of get more vehicles or get RP or get lions, then every failure is like a setback, and that is not like a. It's hard to word it. It's not like a incorrect way to approach the game because that is an element to it, but it's not a great way to approach the game because at that point, it being a fun experience is secondary to achieving something, which is not good, like a good feedback loop. So I think playing with friends helps a lot, and if you're playing something that's not exactly something that's incredibly meta, or you feel like something I always like to suggest is playing something like the T95 or the FV like 4005, because while playing vehicles like that is that they're so not meta to the point where if you die in them, you're not going to like hate yourself. It's like I got bombed in the T95. Obviously, that was going to happen. I'm in the T95, and so playing vehicles like that aren't exactly stressful is good for the mindsets that you have, for the mindset that you have, the mindset that you have, because you're not going to like hate yourself or get annoyed that you've died because it's like an inevitability if you're playing something like that. So having some like meme lineups or playing like an aircraft or a tank that's just a bit silly, they can be kind of fun. Like playing light tanks in up tiers, it's like where you kind of join with the understanding that you are the underdog. Then it's like when you die, it's like yeah, sure, okay, and you're not going to kind of hate yourself for it. And I think that's an important thing to keep in mind as well. So yeah, play with friends, find some lineups that are kind of not exactly hyper competitive, at least from the perspective of you interacting with the game. And I think that's a good start, I would say. Here's the T sis. That's a Twitter thing, isn't it? I think. I don't know. Um, you're welcome. Like honestly, like, if there's anything like that, um, even if it sort of extends to the person behind the screen rather than the game, I can try and help. Because I mean, I've played this game for nearly 10 years now. And so in that time, I have worked out how to play it every day without getting annoyed at it. And so I can kind of help a little bit, I think. Oh, I also need to breathe. I often forget that. Um, you live in Germany now, right? How did you adapt to a country with a different language? Well, I adapted badly because I never go outside, and going into shops is like terrifying. So I haven't really adapted very much yet. I don't really do that much in terms of German things. I mostly just sort of stay in and do work, which is good for work because it means I'm always really focused on stuff because I don't have much else to kind of focus on in terms of like being social. Because a lot of Germans don't speak English, even in this like university city that I live in. So I don't really know anyone in this country. I don't think I ever will. So I haven't really adapted that much, to be honest. But it's okay. It's doing okay. Hello, Overlord. My day's going okay so far. Mostly just answering lots of emails for different campaigns and sorting out some other exciting things. And doing this, which is also fun. So my day's okay. How's your day going? Uh, what's your current login streak in War Thunder? I think it's like, I really don't know. It's just under 3,000, I think. I can never remember because I don't pay attention to it. But it's quite long. It's quite long now. Um, where are the mods? There are no mods. It's just us here. I can't do that. It's super creepy. Uh, um, this gameplay is so satisfying. I'm glad. I'm glad you like it. Yeah. This is from my most recent video, and with some extra clips, but it's mostly all just from the same thing. Lots of American stuff. Yeah, well, like, I mean, I can hire more mods if I want to do these, but I often don't because usually people are quite sensible on this one. Because for this Monday stream, like it's never advertised on social media, like it's never shared or anything. It's just like whoever's here is here. Because if there's loads of people, then I wouldn't be able to talk to everyone, and I want to talk to everyone, and I don't want to miss comments and stuff. So usually it's okay. There's no one being like gross. Well, there's often like a couple of people being gross, but they get bored after a while. Um, YouTube chat, I usually, well, not usually, but there's usually a lot of gross people in YouTube chat. But I mean, they have very low attention spans, so if I ignore them, they go away, which is always quite useful. Um, so yes. Um, let's hope we get new advice to earn SL. I lost almost all of mine this patch. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a side effect, I think, of a new update coming out because you are going to be buying lots of stuff. So yeah, I mean, generally speaking, the advice I always give, and it's always the same because it always works, is to just play. Well, ideally, play a tank lineup with a premium in your lineup, and just play something you like, play something you enjoy. Because, excuse me, if you're playing something you like, you'll play better. You'll have a better time, and the sort of the best approach that you can have is that if is that earning lions is a byproduct to enjoying the game, in that you earn this passively while doing the thing you like. If having fun is like, well, if having fun is a byproduct of, your main task that you've given yourself to earn lions, then at least from my perspective, you're approaching the game wrong. And in that sense, as we were talking about earlier, if you do that, every setback is going to really annoy you because you've lost time, you haven't achieved, and that's going to make you annoyed. And so it's that I think mindset is a big part of it. But in general, I mean, it's just play a lineup you like, a versatile lineup with one premium in it, play no tank, and approach it like that. Because that way, you're going to always have something that works. You're going to get some good earnings on a good game. And if you're having fun, then it's going to be a better relationship with the game anyway, and it's more healthy in that sense. And that's really what I think you should do. Absolutely. Maybe fix the earnings, maybe. Maybe fix the earnings is an incredibly vague comment that I can't really comment on. If you'd like to be clearer with what you mean, I can try and talk to you, but that's a little bit too vague right now. Plagius Spitfire or Pendergasts? I like Plagius. It's I don't know. I like the LF Mach 9 series. Incredibly good. Very very good. Pendergast it's really quick, but it kind of sacrifices maneuverability to the point where it ceases being an advantage. So you kind of take a half measure with that plane, which means that you have less reliable advantages, but you still work in well, it still works in a lot of different situations, but you have kind of a less standout advantage. And so I think I'd probably go with uh Plagius personally. But they're both fun. They're both fun. Um how does one put multiple of the same bush on a vehicle? Back in the day, you used to be able to buy packs of bushes in pairs of, well, sets of six. You can't do it anymore, but those who did at the time can. But yeah, there's about you could buy the fur ones, the main bushes, etc. They had the original set all came in six. Um, mm, 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 excuse me. Okay. I wouldn't really say the game is too grindy because it depends on how you approach it. I mean, really, I think a lot of it is mindset because if you make your goal to just progress to the end of the tree, then like that's fine. But then yeah, it is going to be a grind to get through to the end. But I mean, you don't need to progress in this game. I mean, it's a good feedback loop to unlock new stuff, but you don't need to do that. I mean, that might sound like a really stupid thing to say and like a brushing off the comment, which maybe it does come across that way. But like, there's nothing to say that you're going to have more fun playing 10-0 than you will playing 5-3. And getting to that stage is kind of easy. And, I think a lot of it is just how you approach the game. and as well, it's playing more nations. Because if you just play one nation and you're up to like 7-0 and progression starts getting a bit tough, then you're kind of stuck with that. And otherwise you're going to be regressing to a much lower tier to even start something new. So I think generally it's about how you approach it. And if you treat the game like a job, then yeah, it's going to feel like that. But you don't need to do that. And I mean, that's not something you probably want to hear me say because obviously it's not fair of me to say that you are approaching something wrong because you can't approach this game in an incorrect way. It's a game. It's what you want from it. In the way that there are people that play like Grand Theft Auto by following the traffic laws. I mean, that's not an incorrect way to play. It's just your relationship with the experience, and that can never be incorrect. But I think a healthier way to approach the game is not treating it like a job like that. And so I don't think it's objectively too grindy. I just think it's subjectively too grindy, which in that sense, maybe that's its own problem. Sure, I'm not going to argue with that. But I think that can be countered, at least in the current stance, by approaching it in a different way. And I mean, that's how I play it every day and not get bored or upset with it. I still have stuff to unlock from the last patch. And, it doesn't become like a huge task for me like that. Because I can do whatever. I can play whatever, and it's, feedback loops. You've got to be good to your brain. It doesn't like the same thing over and over again. What do you think of the patch? I quite like it. I'm a bit disappointed it's all high tier stuff, but I mean, that's sort of the state of the game at this point. Like from tier 5, tier 7, I mean, they do lack a lot. But I like World War II stuff more. I find it more interesting. At least like functionally. I don't like stuff that's too perfect. Or maybe not even perfect. But excuse me. I don't like things that are sort of no. I don't know how to word this because it's not exactly a normal sentence. But I think I like the lower tiers because the vehicles play to very different strengths. And in top tier, it's all homogenized. I mean, the vehicles are, of course, all different, but they basically have exactly the same set of pros and cons. Good mobility, laser rangefinder, armor negating rounds, stabilizer, and then they're weak in the turret ring, breach, lower plate, over-angled side armor, and that formula basically doesn't change. And I mean, it's competitive, sure, and that can be engaging for some people, but I think for me, like, I like being able to use a complicated tool effectively. And when all of the tools are exactly the same, it's like, kind of boring to me. So I like lower tier stuff. Well, not really lower tier stuff. Stuff below like 8.3 I usually quite like. Because at that point, everything's still a little bit different. And above that, they're all a bit too similar for me. But that's just my perspective. I mean, it's not exactly the only perspective to have, I guess. Um, I'll breathe now. Very cool. Hello, good boy. How are you doing? I was about to say something very cringy then, which you can probably guess. I won't say it. Uh, Spiteful would be cool. Yeah, Spiteful's very nice. I sold an original diagram of the Spiteful from 1948 last year. That was quite fun. Is the Shackleton actually usable? Depends what you want to use it for. It's very easy to counter, but in the right situation, it's okay. But I don't think it's really in a good sort of area of the game personally. Um, People like to make progress, and the grind is too hard to make satisfactory progress. Both of those things are subjective. Satisfactory progress is an objective, and the grind being too hard is again not an absolute. Those are two things that are not the same. Um, so I can't really take that statement in any capacity really. And again, it's how you approach it because it's a subjective thing. Um, if the grind is too hard, you can approach it in another way and get a better result. And if the progress you're making isn't satisfactory, you can again approach it in another way. In the sense that if it takes too long to get high tier vehicles, you can play another nation and get more vehicles there quicker. If you want more progress, you can spade stuff. Spading stuff is progress. You get a nice little, ace symbol on your stat card, well, on your tech tree vehicle card. That's progress. You can get camos, that's progress. You can get some ace crews, that's progress. It all adds up. It just, I mean, again, I'm not in your head, and it's not fair for me to say that you're approaching this wrong, but I would say that, at least from my perspective, you could be approaching it better. And it's not in a sense of there being an objective fault with how the game works. It's just that the way you're approaching it isn't, I guess, well, healthy is not the right word. Is not, well, I guess, satisfactory for you. And either because the game is how it is right now, it's either you adapt to that or you know, find something else. And I mean, ultimately, if the game isn't for you and if you don't enjoy it, I'm not gonna like try and beg you to stay. I mean, it's up to you. It's a game. If you don't want to kind of make a compromise with it and I guess enjoy it in that sense, then maybe other games are better. You know, it's a game. Sorry, YouTube, I've missed lots of you. Um, Sherman, why not play M6 tank? Why not? I'm not asserting either are correct. This is just gameplay of every rank 3 American vehicle, of which the Sherman and the M6 are included. Is there a legendary lion tank? Don't know what this means. Probably not. Oh my god, the tiger was penetrated by Sherman in the front and the tiger didn't counterattack? Yep. Okay. Okay, sorry, I've missed lots of comments. Again, as I always say, like if I've missed your comment, as long as you don't spam it, you're welcome to type it again. I'm not deliberately ignoring anything. It's just that if I talk for like 2 minutes on the same thing, I will miss some stuff. So I will try and get back to it. Okay. Hello. 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 Um, okay. What do you think about stock syndrome? Well, it's relative to the vehicle that you're playing. Some vehicles have a bit of a problem, some don't. And if it is a problem, I mean, you can always play. Arcade is a bit more forgiving. Assault, you can always do that. I used to do that for some tanks that really weren't that great. So there are options. I think on some vehicles it can be tricky. Yeah, I'm not going to deny that. Some, especially with APCR, for example, those can be quite hard to adjust to. But you can milk assists quite easy by spraying tracks and stuff with MGs. Like there are ways to kind of really push some extra RP in the early games. But yeah, it can be tricky. Some tanks I think probably could do without APCR, but it's the stock round. But yep. Why is the WZ305 8.0? Because the proxy rounds are incredibly good and very hard for an aircraft to counter, even if maneuvering. That's a nice question. If War Thunder wasn't the game you ended up working with and doing YouTube content on, what other games might you been into? I don't know really, because apart from War Thunder, I don't really play any. I guess well, not really competitive games, but games that have like a long process to them, like War Thunder. I mostly just play single player games or like story driven games. I like narrative games a lot, like Night in the Woods, very cool. Um, Stuff like that I like. So I'm not sure. I might have ended up doing like I don't know. I always thought about doing very quiet like reviews on games I like because I always have a lot to say about them because of the way I don't know syntheses your brain. I don't know I like doing that. I like categorizing that kind of thing. So I might have just ended up doing really small just game reviews in general. Um, I'm not sure I would have done much else. I'm not sure. When are you going to stream Psychonauts again? I don't know. I'm not really that interesting to play games like that, I think. I usually just second guess myself and then listening to me becomes incredibly annoying. I might play something else. I don't know. I'll see if I can find something. I don't know. I'm not exactly the most confident person, as you can ascertain by my general sense of self on these streams. But maybe. Maybe one day. Maybe one day I'll have a go. Will there be a dev blog today on the upcoming crafting event? Perhaps. I, of course, cannot tell you yes or no, but perhaps it would not be unlikely. Beverage, yes. Hi, how are you, Daniel Johnston? I'm doing well. How are you? Someone will get that. Of course they will. Uh, what job do you think you would have got if you existed in the 1600s? I probably would have been dead by now. Just sort of, don't know, general disease or getting hit by coal. I don't know. Hello, Smeagol. How are you doing? How is it going, Chief? I keep forgetting to breathe. I'm always out of breath. This is a disaster. I just have small lungs. I don't even know if I have small lungs. I think I just sort of my organs have got smaller over the years, like an old lady. Is that what happens? I don't know. Ah, yes. A very nice cup of tea. So tea, in fact, that I would say cheers. Um, so your job will be being dead in the 1600s? I don't know. I don't really know. Because obviously, like, it would be like self-aggrandizing to say I'd want to, like, I don't know, be, like, do artistry or naturalism or something. But, like, most likely I would have just died or, like, had no education and just, don't know, sold newspapers. Probably would have been quite depressing. Like, I mean, I'd like to be an adventurer or something, but I would most likely just get stabbed. So, can someone make this calmly read a joke from the Minecraft joke book? It's certainly possible. We may be able to get there. Um, hello, Hack Wild. How are you doing? Um, the green screen makes your hair look like it's graying out. It is graying out. All the things that look grey are grey. If I get a bit closer, I don't know if you can see, but because it kind of washes out. But like a lot of my hair is grey. Uh, a lot of people on my dad's side and my mum's side went grey entirely. Their hair was completely white by the time they were 30, and so that's going to be the same with me too. I will have white hair completely in about like 10 years. So yeah, it's not an effect of the green screen. It's just my hair. Why is it grey? It's I think it's part of its genetics, part of its like stress. I think just general stress. Um, like I don't know, my hair falls out a lot, but that's also because my hair is unbearably thick. Um, that's a sentence. But yes, um, annoying. Can you guys please add the KV? Which one? Helxie, do you like Undertale? Deltarune? I've never played Undertale, and I actually don't know what it's about. So maybe I could stream Undertale one day because I genuinely don't know. I don't know what it is. I know there's an evil flower in it, but that's it. I've managed to kind of deal with that. Well, avoid spoilers. So maybe. Yeah, like my family have weird genes. I guess we go grey very very easily. We're incredibly pale and have a very. I don't know why we have a lot of metal content in our hair apparently. So my hair is really hard to snap for whatever reason. Which is also why my hair gets quite big because it's very very thick and it's like thicker hair, so it looks bigger. Um, yeah, a lot of us have green eyes as well. My eyes are green, well they're more jade, but still. Uh, Oxy the Wise. Oh yes, I'll be sitting on top of a mountain top, but like 80 years old, and people will be coming up to me like seeking advice for how to play the M18. I'll bestow it on them. Oh man, that's so cringe, but it can be kind of funny. Are any of your family from Romania? See, a lot of my family were called vampires when they were younger because they were all really pale, had green eyes, and like kind of very, very dark hair. And yeah, so there's a connection there, but I don't know. I don't really know where I'm descended from. I had some pirate relatives, I think. Um, favorite book? Probably The Wasp Factory by Ian Banks. There's some moments in it where I was younger and I was like, ah, damn, that's yeah, man, that's how it is. Crazy how that's the same. Don't read it. Actually, no, you can read it. It's fine. You have my permission. It's really good. Um, uh, do you watch anime? I don't really like anime. I think a lot of it's quite cringe. Some I like. I like the anime films more than the shows because the films have less filler and they're usually trying to like tell a story in a condensed way rather than like get you to watch like lots of episodes of just like cutie women doing things, and it's like, not a fan. Some of it I like though. Um, I watched the three Made in Abyss movies at the weekend because I quite like Made in Abyss. Um, I think the world building's really good. I like the world. There's like a lot of morbid kind of curiosity in that show, and that I like. That's like the most recent one I've liked. All the others are just kind of garb to me. It's all the same thing. It's like generic fantasy, um, big booba women, uh, generic insert guy for all the dudes, ambiguous relationships, bright colors for you know brains. I don't know. It's not for me. The films are okay though. Um, yeah, I really like the shows very much. Maybe like there can be some that are good, but I don't know. Uh, I do try it. Like I've got a lot of friends who like who like anime, and they send me them sometimes. But I rarely can get into it. But I'm always open to it. Uh, I posted this a few times. Please read. You were talking about pets before. I have a three-legged dog who's an American Staffy crossed with Boxer. His name is George. Oh, baby. That is a very cute little babster. Oh, give pets from me, please. Very, very good. Very, very good dog. I love them already, and I will never know them, but still. Um, uh, Nothing's wrong with QT women, but if that's the main appeal of the thing you're watching, then there's probably more streamlined ways to enjoy what you want to enjoy, rather than like just watching a show for the sake of that. Like the shows I like in the kind of anime setting are like I like them if they do something you can't do with real shows. Like if it's a show about I don't know assassins or like people killing people, like you can do that in real life. I like watching an anime where they do something that's impossible to do in live action as well. So that's good. It's more about the world building for me, I think. Otherwise, I just watch a regular show. Anyway, let's talk about War Thunder because that's why I'm here. Um, we have derailed. Okay. Tips for using the IS-3 and up tiers. Well, yeah. Obviously, you have the main thing of don't get hit, which is a very well, annoying thing to say. But the gun mostly works. But you are going to start lacking in terms of the mobility department as well, because most of what you're fighting is going to be able to outpace you and use more of the map than you. The difficulty with vehicles like that as well as the Russian vehicles is that they are quite predictable in that the gun depression limits them to particular places in the match. So it's tricky to play a vehicle like that. But in any case, the gun works. And if the gun works, the main thing you really need to keep in mind is where you put yourself. And I think that's the main thing. Because I always say one of the biggest things with the IS-3 and the IS-4, IS-2, is positioning yourself in such a way to limit the ability for an enemy to rush you if you're well, if you fire, basically, because if you fire and miss, the person you're fighting will know they have like at least 20 seconds to push you. And that will get you killed a lot if you're fighting at close range, especially if your armor isn't that good. So playing at long range really, really helps because that way you're more protected. Hull down armor is better. You're harder to one shot as well. And in that sense, it's, well, the enemy can't rush you if you fire, which is a very, very big thing. And it's all about keeping yourself alive and making sure you can actually use the gun because you are limited by your ability to brawl and you're also limited by your reload. So if you can put yourself in a position where you can fire at enemies and have a kind of backup to retreat after you fire, that's the key thing to keep in mind. And that basically doesn't change whether you're at 7-0 or 8-0. And that's a really strong baseline to play to, I think, I would say. Stop making me think about my ex. What did I do? I'm sorry. I did not. That was not my intention. Hope you're doing okay, Chief or Sis. I don't know who you are. Breathing, yes. I'm not sure the British bishop is not in the game yet. I'm not sure how usable it would be, but yeah, maybe at some point we'll see something like that. Perhaps. Perhaps. Um, Standalone. See, I like that. I like the idea of having those events back because I love that because it made certain vehicles have a purpose. Because if you were like, I don't know, a vehicle that would always get up tiered might be like the best vehicle in those historical events, and so those would be yeah. So though yeah, I'd like that. I really miss those, and I would absolutely like to see them have a return. Definitely, I'm with you on that one. Could be cool. Excuse me. Yes, this is streamed on YouTube and Twitch in parallel. Um, so I'm getting questions from both. Looking up and down, spying the. I'm gonna shut up now. Anyway, oh, I thought somebody actually texted me, but it was my bank saying that my direct debit for my UK flats come out. No one ever messages me. Um, yep. Do you read both chats? Yes, I do. I read both. No one's like, I'm not getting any questions to, like, no one's feeding me questions. I'm just reading them as I see them with my old eyes. I suppose they're not old, are they? Because I think the cells in your eyes rejuvenate, don't they? So I guess they're not old. Anyway, we're gonna tea. It's like ambiguous breakfast tea. I don't really know what the brand is, or I was about to say what the species is. I'm not sure what species of tea it is, but it's like the tea that you get in hotels in that little sachet underneath your TV. It's like that. Um, yeah, my voice will crack a lot. Wait until you hear my real voice. It'll break your brain. Sadly, not Earl Grey. I love Earl Grey. Earl Grey and Lady Grey. Lovely. And that moment there that you just saw, that panther was saved because I hit the barrel of the Super Pershing's turret flying across the screen. Ugh. What's your main lineup? I don't really have one. In this game, I don't really play the same thing over and over again because I don't. I only really play stuff if I can achieve something by playing it, as pretentious and self-aggrandizing as that sounds. In that, like, there are vehicles that are kind of fun because they're easy to play. Like some jets are kind of easy. Like there's some really good lineups, and it's like if I'm not like just winning for me doesn't do anything. I only really play if I can get camos or spade stuff or like really achieve something while playing. Because otherwise, it's like I feel like it's dead time. I don't like dead time in anything that I do. I need to kind of I don't know. I feel like I want to have something to show for what I'm doing. If that makes sense. So like I don't really play much like, open world games and stuff anymore because I don't really feel like I get much from playing them, which is really stupid because I want to play them because they're fun. My brain is like, you could be doing work right now, and I say, yes, I could. And like I bought Horizon Zero Dawn as like a treat for working quite hard, and I just can't play it for more than like an hour because like my brain kicks in and it's like, you could be like doing work right now, and I go, yeah, I could. I'll do that instead. So it's really toxic. But yeah, that's how I approach War Thunder as well. Green tea best. I love me some herbal tea. Hey, Smeagol, have you ever had flower tea? Like a flower tea, I quite like with a bit of like natural sweetener in it. It's great. It's basically like it's like tea that you put a flower in, and the flower kind of opens up, and it's a really nice herbal green tea. And you get it in like these crystal cups, and you can see through it. It's really pretty. I recommend those a lot. I play War Thunder because it's something to work. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's how I approach a lot of things in life in general. It's how my head works. And I think it's not necessarily a bad way to play because that way you're constantly making progress and you can constantly feel accomplished by doing little things. Like getting a camo, spading something, it's like, hell yeah, I did that. And that's good because you'll come away from the game knowing you did something. And so if you approach the game with just like, you just trying to get the next like rank 7 vehicle and you play for a whole day and you don't get that vehicle, you're not working on spading anything, you're not working on getting camos at the same time, you'll come away with nothing. So it's good to always play something and then come away from the game knowing you've actually achieved something. So instead of like saying, I'm going to unlock this vehicle, take it as I want to spade this vehicle, and by proxy, I will unlock the vehicle while I'm doing that. And that I think is one of the best feedback loops this game has for unlocking stuff, and that's exactly how I play it, and that's how I keep playing it. Um, yeah, it is interesting, like Smeagol. It's really good. Although when I was someone I was dating a while ago, I gave them a cup and they threw up afterwards because they really didn't like it. So if you don't have a lot of green tea, well, like herbal tea, I guess you do. But if it's something you haven't really had before, it's probably super gross. But if you already like it, it can be kind of nice. So yeah, I recommend. I recommend a lot. It's very fun. Very fun. Sometimes I think my brain gives up on the sentence after I say it, which is amazing. Sorry about that. Uh, Entschuldigung. I'm missing comments. Uh, hmm. Oh, my chest is hurting. I need to stand up in a minute, otherwise I'm going to break. My body gives up if I sit down for too long. Um, I do drink coffee at home. It's sounds really bad. It sounds really bad, but like coffee to me is like a substitute for drinking or no, eating rather. Because like if I drink coffee, I'll feel full. So yeah, I don't I sort of drink a lot of coffee, but yeah, tea sometimes. Tea sometimes. I mean, if you think my hair looks like a toilet brush, I mean, perhaps you were bullied in school. That's all I can really say to that, Chief. That's really mean. Um, I'm sorry. I don't want to imply that people shoved your head down the toilet when you were younger, but I mean, there's a quip for you. That's how we do it, Chief. Uh, Wait, so do you work for War Thunder? Yeah, I work for Gaijin. I do a lot of work here. Um, I sort of have a multitude of things. I don't just have one particular niche job because I find that reductive. Plus, it's easy to get burnt out like that. Um, I work a lot on marketing side. I deal with a lot of our marketing and influencer campaigns. I also generate all of our B-roll, which is the video footage you see on YouTube. Excuse me. Um, on YouTube for like when you get an advert for War Thunder, I make all that footage. I structure that. I do all of our English translation in the game. I write some news posts as well, but not all of them right now. I'm hoping to do more though because a lot of them are very uh, colorful. And I do a lot of work with influencers too. So it's a lot of liaison work and basically back and forth with managers and middlemen and that kind of thing. And quite a few little things as well. I do some voiceover stuff, although that probably won't happen for quite a long time. And yeah, it's ever increasing. I'm going to be doing some more anti-fraud management in the coming months as well. So there's lots of stuff that I do. I also do some super testing, but not very much. Only when there's stuff to test properly. So yeah, I think at least in a job like this, like why I like working at Gaiden so much is that I came here basically with the experience of knowing how the game worked, and that was it. And now I know how to do video game marketing because I was allowed to be able to kind of learn to how to do that, and all kinds of things. And it's really good because it means like if I just, for example, did English translation, I'd get bored. So if like I work on all of that, and it's like okay, how about I do don't know, work on some more B-roll. We need to get some new trailers out, new updates out. I can focus on that. And so I like this job a lot because I'll never get bored with one particular thing. It's like I can move on to another area that needs it. And so that's why this job is cool. Incidentally, if you want to be a marketing manager at Gaijin Entertainment and you have a base level of experience and live in Europe, I guess, let me know. Maybe we're hiring. For real. I'm not even joking. Um, hey, Sarah. Sarah? I think my brain broke. Hello there. How are you doing? Um, what's up with the sandworm? Yeah, it's like a Dune meme. There's nothing else about that. What kind of jobs are there at Gaijin? Well, in our office, we're looking for marketing managers right now and developers. Um, Both, basically, if you have experience in either or you know about the game a lot and have like a base level of experience in either, you can apply, perhaps, on the website, or just send me a message or something if you have a CV. Then we can hang out. I mean, if you want, there's no pressure. You don't have to. Um, hello, Sinisa? Sinisa? Sinister. Hello. Probably one of those maybe was right. Please let me know which one. um, do you have a carpet where you work? No. Have you met Bruce? I haven't, but I sometimes write the scripts for him. Well, I don't write them, I reword them to make them legible. But yes. Live streams with Chad Bruce. I'd love that. Well, I don't know if he's really in a position to come to the office, but I'd love that. We could hang out and talk, we could reminisce of the old times together. That'd be great. Good old Bruce. Um, yeah, you can. I mean, if you have a base level of experience, you can work here. Um, we are hiring in the office. Oh, and I also do these streams as well, of course. That's part of my job. Although, I mean, it's like an incidental part, I guess. Um, anyway, what country is Gaijin in? Many. Latvia, Hungary, Germany, Russia. A lot of people working freelance to an extent from home. Those are the main countries. We're based in Germany. Or at least where I'm based right now. We'll probably have an office tour when we like renovate it, which hopefully should be happening soon. So yep, we will eventually. Lagboy, yeah, I think it's in the hurricane video. He sits there and like talks about his I think his father who worked on them, I think. Um, you're Latvian but live in the UK? Well, I mean, you know, I lived in the UK, now I work here. There's always a possibility. Um, I live in Australia. I mean, you can still move. It's not an impossibility. Just need a visa. I mean, we can help you out with that. Um, I work in Karlsruhe in Germany. I will never say it any other way. I probably will. Uh, but X-Wolf, because back in the day you could buy bush packs of 6 rather than 1. And so I did that back in the day. No language requirements. I don't speak German or Russian. I just speak English, and I work here fine with no issues. The universal language we speak is English in our internal conversations and all of our chats. So you don't need to speak any other language. How would you like your stay in Germany overall? It's okay. Because of how I am and like being in Germany, I don't really do very much apart from just do work and then just hang out at home. So it's not immensely different to my UK life. I guess I don't mean that for that to sound depressing. Um, but yeah, I quite like it. It's a nice experience. There's lots of different stuff here that you just wouldn't get in the UK. So yeah, I quite like it. I probably don't think I'll be here forever, but I do still quite like it. Um, sorry, I've missed some stuff. I still live in the UK in that I still pay for my flat in the UK, but I live in Germany now, which also means that I pay, well, a lot of money for 2 flats, one that I'm not using, but still, I kind of need that one there. Initially, it was going to be a case that like one of my friends would live in my flat and like pay the rent and just pay like £100 a month and just look after my stuff, but like they ended up not doing that, so I'm paying for it all now, which sucks, but still. Please tell me, do you play naval battles? I do. Yes. It's not subletting. I'd still pay. Well, like they would pay for like a third of the rent to live there and pay the expenses. I pay the rest. So it would all be going directly to my landlord. It's just that somebody else would be looking after my stuff, in that they'd be staying there, but they couldn't really make it their own. I guess not in like a sense of like they're strictly they weren't allowed to, but in that they'd have to just kind of make sure all of my stuff wasn't catching fire. But yeah, never happened, which is sad. Um, how much do you earn if you rent two flats? Well, I don't have the highest amount of disposable income because I do that. I don't really have an option, so it's not that I can afford to do it comfortably. It's that I need to do it and need to kind of deal with that, I guess. What's your opinion on Sweden tanks? I like them a lot. They let you approach the game in a different way. Their gun depression is great. Obviously, they can't really be conventionally aggressive. A lot of them can't. Some of them can. Excuse me. The Lectorn's quite good at that, but yeah, it's tricky. But I like them because they can use a lot of areas of the map that most other tanks can't. Like 10 to 15 degrees of gun depression is the norm. And I really like that because it means a lot of enemies won't really predict where you live. Where you live. I saw the word live and I said it without working out what I was going to actually say in my head. Um, you're less predictable playing Swedish tanks if you use different areas of the map, which is really nice, and I like that a lot. So they've got a really good tree, lots of unique vehicles, um, and I would recommend playing them absolutely. Very, very good. He doesn't live in my flat. He uses it sometimes because he is seldom the happiest person in the world and likes to get away from his very loud neighbors sometimes. And my flat is opposite the sea, so he goes there and like just hangs out sometimes, collects some of my post, and looks for sea glass on the beach, which I used to do when I lived there, and I will still do in the future too. So he does sometimes. Is this your footage? Yes, it is. This is my clips. My clips. The enemy knows where you live. If that ain't wrong. Uh, Oxy, do you know the average age of your player base? Yes. 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 I tried to say yes, but then I also tried to breathe at the same time, and it was just like, yes. And that sounded abysmal. It's like I was punched in the throat as I tried to speak. Um, ouch. I need to stand up. My back is absolutely going a bit. Sorry. My back is like destroyed at the moment. I don't know why. It's not very happy with me. I've been doing a lot of, well, I've been doing a new exercise that I wasn't doing before, and it's just making my back very angry at me. Anyway, not relevant. Um, how to play Jagdtiger? Well, it's a vehicle that doesn't really have any basis being at close range, really, I think is one of the bigger things for it, in that you don't really get any advantages from playing there. And much like the IS series, because the reload is so long, you are at a big disadvantage if the enemy is within a few hundred meters of you, because that way, if you fire, they can rush you quite comfortably, hit your track, go around to the side, especially if you're on reload, really limits what you can do. So covering a narrow sight line at range is probably the best way for you to go, because the closer you are, the weaker your advantages are. Because, well, your armor's more effective at long range, you're harder to flank. A lot of vehicles at 6-7 won't be able to get through you frontally. Some of them can, especially in up tiers, but not all of them can. And especially at range, if you're using some kind of cover, like a low cover, it means whenever you do take a hit, get hit by Sabo or something, you can back off, repair, and re-engage, and that's really the best way to go. Your gun is great, and you don't need to be at close range to make the gun work. You can easily, snipe with it. Requires a bit of practice because the zoom on that gun is really high, but yeah, it's pretty much the way to go for that vehicle. Also, having a good versatile lineup works as well, because some maps the Ag Tiger won't work very well anyway. So having some KTs, Yak Panther, Panther 2, if you have it, really adds a lot, and the Bulldog as well. So all of that works together. I don't think the Yak Tiger is that great anymore. Personally, I'd love to see the 88 version, because that way the reload doesn't limit it, and the 88 still does crazy damage. So yeah, hopefully we can see that at some point. But yeah, that's what I would go for. Would you say that your knowledge of tanks can translate to knowledge of real world doctrine? In some ways, but I think in the game a lot of it doesn't really translate, because a lot of the issues real vehicles had um, don't have any impact on the game at all. You take apart any onus of the actual humans inside the vehicle making it work, like training, reliability of parts, environment, that kind of thing. There's so much to it. And on that basis, you can probably get a baseline of how to make something work, but I don't think it's going to be reliable. Um, do you need college, university for Gaijin? For some roles you do, some you don't. Um, but yeah, I don't think it's an absolute requirement. You can potentially, but yeah, it depends on what the actual job you want to go for is. See, just I don't need a username. I don't really think War Thunder and World of Tanks are really comparable as games. The only thing they have in common really is that they're games that have tanks in them. Like the analogy I kind of use for it is that if War Thunder and World of Tanks had their aesthetics entirely stripped, instead of models of tanks and planes, they were changed to like made up futuristic like models of armored vehicles or whatever, like mechs or whatever, or like spaceships. In that, basically, what I mean is that if the game played identically, but the assets were different, you'd never see people even comparing both of the games at all because they function so differently mechanically and well, in actually what they are. The tech tree is the same, and they have you know thematic tank mechanics and that kind of thing. But in general, if you strip that off, they're not even really worth comparing to each other, really. Um, I wouldn't really say it's more relaxed than casual. Again, it's a subjective thing. It's how you approach it. You can have a very very casual experience with War Thunder, depending on how you approach the game. And I think it always comes down to that, really. Hey, bro, you just camping? No. There's instances where I won't move because it's the most intelligent thing to do. But on environments where that's not the case, I don't need to. Then of course I will push out. But there's going to be clips here where I'm not moving because that's literally the most intelligent way to approach the situation. If you think that you should constantly be moving about all the time, that's probably why you don't do very well, to be honest. Um, but yeah, I think there are some areas of War Thunder that are way more stressful, I guess, at least comparatively. And same with World of Tanks. It's all entirely relative. Um, in that you can kind of you can sweat out in both games. It just depends on how you approach it. They're not really similar. Um, why can't the IKV swim anymore? Probably because it couldn't IRL. That's usually what it boils down to. Why there's so many high tier players and like Tenno just bombing and being a hindrance? What do you mean? It can swim IRL. It might be in a particular configuration that we don't have, or if it was loaded with a particular. Well, yeah, if it was unloaded, it could be amphibious or not. There's factors that go into it. Either it's a case of it happened accidentally, or it's just not possible with the way it's configured in game. Harries and so on, probably because it's an effective and easy way for like a beginner player to get RP. I mean, it's difficult because yeah, it's like that play is not really that useful for winning the match, but I mean, if that's all that player can reliably do to progress, then you know, it has to be understandable in that in that sense. But it is a hindrance to some people. But this game is good because you can approach the game however you want. You don't need to you know, I dogfight in bombers and love doing that because it's not how you're supposed to play bombers, but I have fun doing it in the way that you can take your fighter and be a bomber with it if you like. And I mean, whether you're being a hindrance to your team is a separate issue. I guess it's just people can do what they want in this game, and I mean, there's probably some gameplay mechanics that can be adjusted based on that. I don't think the game is perfectly in a position to adapt to that, but in any case, I think it's still, it's a good thing ultimately. But I know what you mean. It can be frustrating, definitely. Um, mm, mm, mm. Kazakov would, in adding infantry to the game, be a good way to buff some weak vehicles, add gameplay complexity. I don't think the game's really equipped to deal with that. Almost every map would have to be reworked. It would change the age rating, and it would also not really work in a game like this because, I mean, anti-tank weapons are not as reliable as maybe they seem. And especially for a game like this, where it's very easy to position yourself in such a way that infantry could never even get close to you, it would never really work for a game like this. And Enlisted, it works because the environments are very small, very compact, and you're limited to your in-tank view, so there's no looking around you, etc. But even then, in that game, if you play carefully and snipe, really hard to counter you. Would you want there to be any more float planes? Yes, they're some of my favorite aircraft ever, and I would love to see more of them, definitely. IKV-91 is amphibious. What I'm saying is either it's a mistake in the game, of which I acknowledged if you listened a few minutes ago, and at the same time, it may be a case that it's amphibious in a particular configuration. In that, if it's holding a limited ammo capacity or limited fuel capacity, etc., there are factors involved with that. Um, and maybe in the state that we have in game, it's not able to be amphibious. It's often not a black and white thing like that. But again, as I did mention in the first sentence, it may just be an error. Both are likely. Where are the World War II battleships? Coming when they're ready, I would imagine. I have no idea. Although I don't think it'll be that great to get World War II battleships right now. Although I don't know. Maybe they'll be implemented in a good way, but we'll have to see. Would you like jet float planes? Yeah, some would be nice. Like the Saunders Row A1. That could be fun. Quad 20 mils. I would like to see that. YJ4 got a higher repair cost than the MiG-17 because it probably performs better. That's usually what it boils down to. It might seem like a silly thing on the surface, but if its functional impact is greater, then it has a higher cost. Yeah, that's sort of all it comes down to. Yamato versus Phantoms. Well, yeah. I mean, that certainly would be interesting. Well, from what I remember, the anti-air on ships is actually more effective the faster the enemy moves, which is strange. I'm not sure if it's still like that. Apparently it was a while ago, but we'll see. Yeah, new background footage. Tanks today from a video. Hello, Cake. Nice to see you as always. How are you? Uh, Enklados, I'm not really sure what you're. If you're inferring that Chinese players are playing well, then there's not a problem with that. But if you're implying that they're cheating, then there is an issue. But I mean, in most instances, it's an issue. Well, they're not cheating. I probably played this game more than anyone here, quite comfortably. I can say that, and I've probably met about. Don't know. I've got over 50 cheaters banned. I think I probably met more, so you can probably say that I've met probably about 100 cheaters in about 9 years, and it's most likely that there's a player that's good, effectively, and it's more, there's more to it than that, and it's reductive to just say that everyone who's beating you is cheating. I mean, maybe they are listening for your engine, maybe it's luck. Most often it is. There's a lot that kind of you know, there's a lot of other factors involved that may seem like cheating, but it's incredibly rare. Um, and in this instance here, I mean, like, I pre-aim round corners if I know an enemy's there, especially if I'm in a weaker vehicle that I don't want to fight them head on. It's just best way to go. Can you tell us what's the matter with all of those number name players? I think it's just based in Chinese nomenclature. I think they just sort of something to do with their area code and like phone number or something. I can't really remember. But there's something like that. It's you know, it's just a sort of cultural thing. I think. Doing well. Very glad to hear. I'm okay. I'm glad you're doing well. Um, the best way to get anyone to notice is to just report them. I mean, they're all checked through if it's a cheater report. Um, yeah. I mean, honestly, if someone's cheating, it's very easy most of the time to catch them. Really. I mean, the formula that people like that use rarely changes. And after a while, like me and a couple of friends used to actively look for cheaters. We got a lot of people banned back in the day, but not really recently. Um, yeah, it's a it's a rare thing in general, I think. Um, they seem to be cheating considerably more than others. I think that's probably untrue. It's mostly confirmation bias, I think, in that sense. In your head, you see the numbers and think, "Oh, that player is Chinese and they killed me, therefore cheating." I'm not saying that you're doing that, by the way. I'm just saying that's probably not an unlikely train of thought for some people to follow based on how the internet is. I'm not saying you do that again. It's just something I can imagine happening more frequently than not because it's way rarer than people give it credit for. What's the process that happens when I report someone? It goes to our moderator log, and the moderator in the a moderator of the same language that you are running in the game will read through the report. If it's a cheater report, they'll look through the server replay and base that on based on that, and either action it through that or not. Going to study game art. Very cool. I studied that a bit in college as well for a couple of terms. Um, very fun. Don Diablo, I think that's part of it, yeah, because War Thunder is a game that plays into people's ego a lot. I think there's something about our brains that doesn't like having like I don't know. I think it's initially why like mech shows were quite popular because there's something inherently satisfying and ego damaging, sort of two sides of the same coin. If you kind of you're piloting or using a big tool or a big thing and somebody else destroys that thing that you're using, it's a very ego damaging thing, I think. And I think for War Thunder like that, it it's more so it's a larger kind of feedback, like mental feedback loop, and I think that's why there's a lot of I guess cheater accusations because it's more comforting to know that the person fighting you didn't destroy the thing that you're using because you weren't as good or you made a mistake. It's because they are fighting unfairly, and that's just in terms of mental well-being, it's nicer for our brains to pretend that we didn't actually do anything wrong, but you'll never improve if that's your mindset. So it's much healthier to assume, at least if you want to get good at the game, is to just assume that you made a mistake and work out why. Maybe you got unlucky, and that's okay too. But it's how you approach it. Um, yeah. Hell Avatar on YouTube there. Exactly. If you suspect someone's cheating, open up the server replay and check them. If you open up the server replay, you can see their exact vision. You can see if they're tracking. You can see if they're keeping enemies in their line of sight. You can do everything like that, and it's really easy to catch people out like that. Really, really easy. So yep, do it. That's what I would do. That's what I do if I need to action any cheater reports. And yeah, like maybe even exactly as von Derpenberg is saying, that's a very sweet name. Watch a replay from the enemy's perspective. It might be like, for example, I mean, I can kill an enemy in complete cover if I watch them drive into it. You know, like if someone is completely obscured behind a fence or like a bush, either I can watch them drive into it or I can see their antenna sticking out. And, you know, sure, I have no way of seeing them, but I have ways to kind of ascertain, ascertain. I have ways of kind of working out it's likely they're there. Maybe they're not there, but maybe they are, and I can take that risk of firing and I can knock them out. And, you know, a lot of other people do that as well. And so, you know, it may seem on the surface like an enemy has no way of seeing you or knowing you're there, but they kind of do. Maybe they saw you like 10, 20 seconds beforehand and are guessing where you are. There's a lot to it. War Thunder needs add submarines. I don't know if that's the case. Submarines are nice in theory, but do you know how quickly submarines move? They're incredibly slow, and with how big maps need to be to accommodate large ships, you'd barely move around it at a submarine. And so it becomes not fun to fight submarines because you won't be able to like find them and how big the map is. And it won't be fun to play submarines because you'd barely get in range of the targets you're fighting. And it would not be that healthy, I think. Adding another community would not, like, forgive me, but I don't think this is a good argument. It would add another community, but that community would be small, and that community would not be having much fun in the game based on how submarines would interact with the game world. And I don't think it's that a good approach. I mean, from what I understand, the World of Warships community is quite fractured on subs in general. I talk to them, a lot of them sometimes. I have some content creators who are World of Warships CCs as well, and it's not the best feature from what I understand that in that game, the submarines work incredibly well, not incredibly, but faster than they would in real life. So it's even easier in those environments. And in War Thunder, I don't think it would work quite well. What's today's shirt? I don't know. I think it's like meant to be from like a VHS tape. I'll show you. I don't really know what it's meant to be, but it, I think it's like scenes from like a VHS tape or something. It's like, yeah, it's got like some little spooky demon on it. I think like the ring, but it says what does it say on it? Where see you there is what it says at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. Look at the bottom there, but like, yeah, it's I don't know. I think it's like meant to be like a Midwestern kind of melancholy noughties thing, but I just don't know. I like the color, and it's a very nice material as well. Very embarrassing thing to say, but true. Um, hmm. What do you think about being able to spawn on capture points in larger maps? I don't think the maps we have right now could accommodate for that. Maybe if there was a map designed around that feature, it could be possible, like a really large one. But it would have to be approached quite carefully because you know in a game like this you can't really have any way that's fair, like 100% fair against spawn camping, etc. Because to an extent you have to spawn somewhat in the open. Because you know the argument I see a lot is just have an enemy, well, have one team spawn behind cover or like in a defilade or whatever, and that doesn't work very well because if you spawn behind a building or in a defilade, the enemy that's spawn camping you will always get the first shot off because you actually need to leave cover to fire at them, and they're going to hit you first. So you know it's a very very difficult thing, and very difficult to find a I guess a perfect uh, compromise for. and it's kind of tricky like that. There'll be lots of work in. Yeah, there will be higher BR ships. Kyup, Kyup, I don't know. Yeah, I mean it's inevitable, really. There's always going to be newer stuff, I think, until we run out of stuff. Um, what about aircraft carriers? Again, I think it's tricky because it's fun in theory, but in practice, and how slow aircraft carriers are, and your actual what you can actually do, it's not as fun. And I think if they are going to be added to the game, I don't know if they ever will. I think they probably won't be. But I think if they were to be added to the game, it would require a lot of optimization, a lot of testing, a lot of internal work. And I don't know if it's possible or on the horizon right now, I'd say. Um, has the idea ever been thrown out of soft nerfing certain stats of vehicles that are close to enemy spawn, like slower reload rates? See, again, like the difficulty there is that it's not always that player's fault for engaging in the spawn. It might be that there's like three players left that are hiding in the spawn and one team has won, and there's no reason for them to not push further into the spawn. So, you know, at that point, like it's not a nice thing to say, but if you have like five enemies at your spawn, you have five players left, and they're all either in aircraft or in the spawn, you shouldn't spawn in because you're already at a disadvantage because your team has lost or you've lost. So it's quite tricky in that sense because it's not a nice thing to say. But it's like sometimes the winning move is not to play, and I think that kind of comes into play very much in that instance. Um, from my perspective, the best thing to do, which isn't possible sadly because of how the game is coded, is to if an enemy fires into another spawn or hits an enemy in their spawn, I think they should get pinged on the map permanently for like 10 seconds, 20 seconds. But it's not possible to code. I've already spoke to the developers about it, which is a shame because that would be quite nice. Um, that's what I would do, but it can't be done, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, in some instances, it's just the case that one team has lost, and slowing the inevitable is not fun for anyone. And I think that, although not a nice consideration, still needs to be a consideration in gameplay, in that it's not the winning team's fault for pushing to the spawn. If someone's like going out of their way to flank around the back of the spawn, then like yeah, that should be punished absolutely. But if it's a case that there's like a few enemies left and the only place left in the match to go is towards the spawn, it's not the winning team's fault for doing that. Spawn camping will be an issue because of War Thunder being an asymmetrical game. But, again, if one team has won, then there's no way to kind of accommodate for both players in that sense. And look, if it's just two players left in their spawn and 10 players around the spawn, giving them equal opportunity in that sense is not fair to the players who've won, basically. And, it can't always be equal in that sense, especially in a competitive environment like that. I agree that, it's an issue if an enemy is able to get into the spawn without the team obviously winning, then yeah, there's an issue there. But it's there is a time when you really should stop spawning in, and that shouldn't be as contentious an issue as people make it out to be. Dynamic spawns work in theory, but not in every environment possible in this game, which is a difficulty. Maybe there can be secondary spawns further away, but even then, it becomes it's the same issue comes about. It's not impossible to wait in those spawns too. Um, and it just depends on the map and the environment. I mean, people using this example sort of like to say that Call of Duty never has spawn camping. It does. I play it a fair bit, and there are so many times where I spawn and die immediately because someone's watching the point I'm spawning in. It's not flawless in those games either. And with a game where you can repeatedly spawn in, it's very very difficult to actually have a perfect equilibrium with that, especially if a game is asymmetrical like War Thunder. It's not something that's inherently possible, and so I think the point shouldn't be eliminating spawn camping, but should just be, dealing with it in a healthier way because it's impossible to sort of perfectly manage by design, really. There's no way for where it's consistently, I guess, it gives equal chance to both parties fairly. It's just not something that really works. Well, I don't really think it's down to repair cost either. And I mean, it's a sort of, if you're, a conscious person with some self-awareness and you can tell that you have no points left, you only have a third of your team left, and there are enemies around your spawn point, it's probably not the most intelligent move to spawn in at that point. And, that shouldn't be taken as like a massive failure. It's just the best move you can make in that instance is not getting yourself killed because you are going to get killed if you engage in that situation. You know, it's like at the end of Half-Life where you're with G-Man and it's like, okay, you can pick this option where you leave, or you can pick this option where you join, where you sort of walk into a room full of people about to shoot you. It's the most intelligent move in that instance to do that. Sure, you can take some of them out, but you're not going to win. And I think that just is a part of the game. And if it's the case of you're on the other end, if you're the one trying to get out of your match and there's three enemies left waiting in the spawn, do you want to be like at a disadvantage for having to do that? It needs to go both sides. I always think it should be fairer to cater to the people losing. That's why Mario Kart works so well with its back end drops and stuff. But in a game like this, there's duality. There's a duality from both sides, and on that instance, it's not an easy thing to solve, really. Yeah, standalone. See, that's a part of it as well. Sometimes it's like if I can see there's like three enemies in my spawn and I'm in an AA, I know I can spawn in and take a few of them out. And like you can do that sometimes, but in some instances it's like, you need to accept that the match is lost and that's not your fault or Gaijin's fault. It's that the enemy team have won and you are still able to fight back, but maybe you shouldn't. Like why do you think people surrendered in real life, in wars? Because they knew it wasn't worth fighting. I mean, kind of I don't know, a cringy analog to make. This game is not real life. It's nothing like it. But there's analogs to take there, I think. And I think a lot of, I mean, sure, I mean, I've played this game a huge amount. It's not a perfect game. You can't really have a perfect game, and I think games shouldn't really strive to be perfect in that sense. It's not really something attainable because everyone's experience is different. But there are instances where your relationship with the game has onus and has importance. In that, if your team has lost and you keep spawning in and keep dying and keep paying repair costs and you blame the game for it, then that's just wrong. And, swallowing pride a little bit and saying, okay, this is where I get off is the best way to approach it. Because it's just how the game is played. And I think it's a much healthier way to approach the game to accept that at points. And it goes both ways. It goes both ways. Sometimes it's annoying, like if you spawn and your team isn't losing, you get sniped across the map. Sure, then I'm with you on that. That's annoying, but it's not always the case, and it's not the main issue a lot of people bring up. I'm going to breathe now. Spawn camping in the first minute of battle is not really fun. I don't think anyone would disagree with that at all. And the team is not winning, and that's what's frustrating. So I don't know if a lot of people would say that's the entire issue, because it isn't. On some maps where that happens, yeah, that's a problem. But it's not spawn camping as a general problem or a general topic. It's something that situationally happens on some maps, and in some situations it's not a constant. Pretending it's a constant is disingenuous, in all honesty. There are ways that we can make that better, that experience better for sure, but it's not indicative of the problem as a whole. There's lots more to it than that. But I don't think anyone would say that that's not a problem. Well, the Tanks is currently live. Yes, we stream at the same times. Same times mostly, yeah. One day I'll be able to host them. Mr. Whippy Shush. No. I don't have enough charisma for that. A very boring voice. And, don't know, I look a bit weird, so. Favorite Sherman variant? M4A276. Probably my favorite. I don't know why. I just have the most fun memories of using it. It hits every note for me. I do try and I do explain why I like it. I think if you watch my video, you don't need to watch it though. I mean, I'm not going to shill it, but if you can find it and you want to watch it, I can kind of explain there. But I think that's probably my favorite. I don't need your username. What do you personally, in your own wisdom, denote as positive behavior? What do you mean? Favorite yak? I like the Yak 9M, but I don't play it very much. But I had a lot of fun times when I did play it. That one's quite fun. And the 9T, of course. The 9T is really nice plane. Really versatile. You can snipe awesomely with it. It's really nice. That might, yeah, one of those two is probably my favorite. I like the Yaks. I don't like the Yak 3 as much though. Can't seem to do as much. Why does the German MiG 19 not get AAMs? It doesn't. Well, that version didn't equip them, but it's still really good. More ammo, maneuverable, fast. It's probably my favorite one. In some situations, it's outclassed, but personally, I really like it. That camo is the dynamite camo from the Thunder League event back in the day. I don't need to use a name. Those are all in their own way rewarded by proxy. Defending cap points is rewarded by you killing enemies. Not spawn camping is something that will happen situationally, and getting out of your own spawn is, of course, a priority for 99% of people. I'm not really sure what point you're trying to make. I mean, if the team go to a cap point and then push and die, then that's their fault for doing that. I mean, the event that we had rewarded players for sitting in cap points and defending them, and everyone hated that because it's the duality. It's like oh, my team are camping the cap point. We're not pushing and we're not making any ground, and the team are coming back. Wow. And the alternative is that my team are pushing and they're not defecting the cap. Wow. There's always going to be this kind of issue with it, and it's not something that I think really can be boiled down to simple terms as positive behavior or not. It's not as simple an issue as we're pretending it is here. And I mean, I've lost games where my team have took the cap and pushed. I've won games where my team have took the cap and pushed. It just depends on the overall competence and the flow of how the game works. Um, it's not really as simple as this, in that one way to approach the game is wrong and one is right. There's way more to it. Like War Thunder's not a symmetrical experience, and in that sense, we can't pretend that one style of play is universally applicable and or useful. It doesn't work that way. Mr. Liu Sanka, I think that's because the American ones were added at a point where that was the norm, and the GE camos were added later. I'm with you though. I would like to see other nations get more unlockable camos, Britain especially. I'd like that. So yeah, I think that's really the reason why they were added back when it was sort of more common. But I would like to see more. I want Britain to get the dark green camo they have in Bovington. That'd be really pretty. I'd like that. Maybe Japan can get like a multi-tone one as well. Because right now they just have winter and brown, I think, which isn't that great. Yeah, I'd like to see more. Next topic. The Hydra. Well, if you don't like this topic, you're welcome to suggest another one. But just saying that in all caps does not really do much for me, I'm afraid. Yeah, China would like. Did the World War II era vehicles in China that China used have many different camouflage schemes? Because if they did, I can absolutely suggest them because I want to see more vehicles for China. Because, like I've said before, I like playing stuff to get more camos and spade stuff. China don't really have very many. They have winter camo for their Lotus stuff, and that's it. So if they were able to actually, well, if they did field any, I would love to see because that's a suggestion I would like to make because I'd love to see some more. Um, how many assets updates are outsourced? Just the models. The models are outsourced because they take a lot of time. Nothing else is though, from what I understand, really. All development in terms of coding, etc., etc., etc. That's all done in house. It's just models are external because it saves time from the core team. China has bush camos, kind of like Korean War stuff for their World War II vehicles. Well, World War II era vehicles, not that they were fielded, but I need some examples, really, I suppose. But post-war, that's a different thing. They already have some camos there, but they could use some more. But for the early stuff, they have winter and that tricolor, which is okay, but yeah, they could do with some more. Hello, Bob. How are you doing? What is the mechanism of knocking out barrels? What do you mean? Do you mean how it works or why people do it? This is too vague for me. Um, Seversk 13 and Breslau are largely historical maps, fictionalized maps. Italy, for example. Maybe. I'm not really sure what the map, um, I guess, theory is like that, or what they want to go for. I really don't know what the process is. And by all means, I mean, it's still, we've said in the past, like if the community want to make maps and they can model a map, we will add it into the game and, compensate someone for making it. It's just no one's made them. So, yeah, I'd like to see some community made maps. That would be really fun. Be nice to see how they think maps should be made. But yeah, I don't really know what their overall approach is. It's really frustrating when the team makes some silly moves. Look at a team's capital 3 points and tactfully pushes. Great. A lot of the time I see a few players cap, blind rush spawn and die. Yeah, well, in some instances it's the case. And with like an asymmetrical game like this, you will have that happen on some maps, and some players will do that because I mean, for some vehicles, for example, uh, like light tanks, they need to use the map and push to actually make their vehicles work applicably, not to spawn camp, but to move and push further than the cap point. And in the way these maps, to an extent, have to be designed to an extent, is that the spawns at the polar opposite side. So if you take the map and there's no there's no other room, you need to keep pushing to get to a good position. Otherwise, you are effectively by proxy giving the enemy ground, and that's sort of by proxy again putting yourself at a disadvantage. So it's one of those things that will go badly depending on the situation, but because of what the game is, that can't really be stopped, and I don't think that's a bad thing. It can go badly, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing in general, from my perspective at least. But I know I can appreciate what you mean. It can be frustrating to see your team do a stupid thing, but it's not such an instance of your team doing a stupid thing. It's that the enemy team are doing a smart thing at the same time. It's not such one-sided. It's not like in every instance one team is driving out in front of the other one. It's that if I can see that my team have lost a cap and the enemy are pushing, I know I can accommodate for that by waiting for the enemy team pushing beyond the cap. There's intersecting points. It's it goes both ways, or more than both ways. It goes many ways, but um, players are players. This I cannot argue with. Yes. Um, Dove Black, please. Yes. Um, I really like this new vehicle. It's very fun. I hope. I like things like that. So hopefully we're going to be seeing some fun instances with this one. The editing is primo. Thank you. I appreciate it. I think I could do more. I want to learn Premiere so I can do like better editing. But Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad you like. Big love. Uh, I've taken to learning the positions of ammo racks on many of the common vehicles I face. What do you think about specifically targeting ammo racks as opposed to waiting for a better shot at crew? I usually go with crew personally because it's more reliable. And ammo racking depends on your angle, the number of fragments, the round type you're using. So in some instances, I'll go with ammo. Like if I'm using Sabo or AP, I'll go with ammo. But for APHE, I'll go for crew, and I think it depends. Um, because you can take a good shot on the ammo, and you might not detonate it depending on various different things. But I don't think either is necessarily correct or incorrect. It just depends on what your preference is. But I personally go for crew most of the time myself. Excuse me. Sometimes ammo though. It depends on my round type. Um, yeah, they both have merit, and I think it just depends on what you're using. Um, you kind of look like Mr. Aizawa from My Hero Academia. Academia? Is that right? Who is this person? I'll look it up on my phone. Who is this? I think I know what this is. It's the one with the kid with the green hair, is it? I think I've seen this. Mr. Uh, okay. Do I look like this person? Uh, it's hard for me to like work out if I look like a cartoon. But I mean, like, yeah, I guess I have long hair. That kind of works. I don't know if I have many other features though. Some of these are funny. Okay, there's some memes here. Those are okay. Yeah, maybe. I guess I have hair. Mm, I mean, Calvino. I mean, you can try to make fun of my eyebrows if you want. It won't really do anything. Uh, what can you even say? My eyebrows are there, and they are larger than others, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, you're welcome to try, but I just don't know how you're planning on upsetting me like that. Do you ever still play air battles? Yeah, I play air battles a lot. I quite like it. Um, I'm also doing a thing right now which will take probably about a couple of years to finish, but I'm playing a lot of air battles for that, and I quite like it. Um, yeah, some instances it's not great. I mean, there's faults, etc. But in general, I quite like air battles. They're quite good for some vehicles, anyway. Some are like attackers. I think could be optimized a bit better, but I'm a fan. If someone insults you in game chat, are you allowed to permaban their account? No. I can if someone breaks the rules, but if someone like swears at me or whatever, it's like, so what? Uh, I don't know why people don't like them. I don't know. I mean, I think my theory is that I look a bit weird, and we have primate brains. We attack what we don't know, and things that look a bit different are wrong. So, you know, people will think that my hair is wrong, that my face is wrong, that my eyebrows are wrong, and try and bring me down a bit with that. But it's just primate brain. I've been looking into that a lot actually recently. It's quite interesting the way we kind of operate like that. Um, yeah, I mean, it's part of the job. And like some of them are funny. Like some of the insults are funny. Some are boring, but. And I mean, like, I shouldn't have a job where I'm a publicly visible person if I can't like laugh at myself. And so that's part of it. It's okay. Weird gameplay advice, bro. Yeah, well, we don't just talk about gameplay here. We can talk about anything we like. That's, the wonderful aspect of the modern age. Who is Cleveland and why are they best girl? Oh, it's not one of those embarrassing ship things, is it? Oh, terrible. Irredeemable. I don't care. You look sort of tired. No, it's just because I look at an angle like this, it makes the profile of my eyes shorter, so it looks like I'm straining, but I'm not. If I look directly at the camera, then my eyes are bigger and I look less tired. It's just the angle. What's with the worm? Um, oh, the on the Russian page, it's for Dune or June. Dune. Dune. Sorry, I need to do the Binyot voice once every stream. Yeah, it's just a meme for that. I'm talking about the city. Okay, I'll allow it this time, but I have my eye on you. Uh, hmm. You have a pet? I do not. We're cool about it though, but I don't. DNC. Why is he flushed? Um, mm, how must your ego be to permaban someone who has a bad day and says dumb stuff? That's my perspective. It's like if someone has a go at me, if I kill them or whatever, it's like, okay, it's not the healthiest way to get rid of your anger, but it's at least not self-destructive. Go for it. I mean, you know, my perspective, like in general, is that you can kind of say what you like as long as the intention is not to like make somebody else feel sad or like make someone else upset. Like I don't care what you say to me as long as you're not trying to hurt me by saying it. Like you can swear at me or whatever, and it's the same in game. If someone tells me to like f off or whatever, like I don't think they're trying to hurt me. I know that they're just annoyed, and it's a way to get anger off. And I think that's not okay, but it's okay if you know what I mean. And I think it's the same, in general life. That's my perspective. Do you use Reddit? Not really. I have a couple of like burner Reddits that I use for like secret account, well, secret subreddits. But I don't really use it that much. Sometimes. Um, so I've missed lots of stuff. I think the worm was just like a bit of fun. I don't think it means anything, although I don't know. I think it's just a bit of fun though. Yep, sus Reddits. You know it. Um, sorry for asking again. No worries. I mean, as again, like if I miss your comment, it's not that I'm ignoring you. It's that I just didn't see it. So if some time passes and I don't get to it, you are welcome to ask it again. What do you think about vehicles with really high repair costs, like the Ho-Re makes it possible to earn an ESL? I think the issue is that in the right situation, the Ho-Re performs incredibly well. In the wrong situation, it struggles a lot. And I think its high repair cost comes from its selective use in those situations. And so it needs to be approached kind of passively, I think. At least that's how I play vehicles like that. And also it's lineups and the maps you play. And I think vehicles like the Ho-Re work in well, it's a lineup vehicle in if you're at 8.0, not that great, but still workable. But if you're at 7.0, really workable. And 7.3 as well. So having a lineup that lets you play in the higher tiers, like having some light tanks in that lineup as well, like the STA3 still works, the Bulldog still works. Um, that's how you use vehicles like that. And I think I've always said it, and I think I always will. In the lineups are probably one of the most powerful tools that you have in this game, because it means that you don't need to play a vehicle in a bad position if you have another one to take out in its place. So if you're playing in a map where the Ho-Re doesn't work, you can play another vehicle and don't need to pay the repair cost by putting yourself in a bad spot. And like that's probably not the answer you want to hear, but it's the safest way to not lose money on a vehicle like that. Lineups give you the ability to play a vehicle that depends on its map and BR in the situations where it works best, because you don't need to play it all the time if you have other vehicles to put with it. And I think that's how you counter that personally. Um, yeah, Phil, exactly. For Nipsey there, I name my in-game accounts either after a band, like the band, or a song I'm listening to when I change it. It's just so it has a formula to it. So that's how I change it. There's no other like nothing else behind it, but it comes around through that. Yeah, username I agree. I think like especially for Japan, they need some more stuff. I don't know what they could have, but yeah, there's some more stuff they need. Definitely, I agree. Thumbury uppies. Uh, where's the tea? Here's the tea, sis. It's here. I will actually pour myself some more. Actually, thank you, EMO. I appreciate your comment. Much appreciate. Um, M18 for Japan. Did they use it? If they did, that could be fun. I don't really know much about sort of post-war lend lease and that kind of thing. It's a sort of it's an area I'm lacking, I think, in general. I know a lot about like a World War II era and like interwar. Um, but yeah, stuff like that I'm not really that well versed in, to be honest. Um, so what's this with the Tiger 2 cheeks? I've been working on another project recently and haven't been paying as much attention to the game as usual. So was it a thing with volumetric and the tracks that they adjusted? I'm not actually familiar with the change, in all honesty. Um, mind saying hello everyone and welcome to the stream? No, I hate how I do stuff in videos. Like I do the X Factor pause when it's like, should you get this tank? Yes. And like I know it's really cringe. I don't like the way I do it. Um, um, do the devs watch Spookston's if historically accurate videos? Probably not. I mean, they watch some player perspective videos on how vehicles work, but for things of that particular nature, I imagine they have, there's other videos they'll watch instead. Um, I found out that before I joined here, that BVV watched some of my videos, which is quite nice. I don't know if you watched all of them or just like a couple, but that was kind of cool. Are you a Tom or Thomas? Neither. Oh God, you are a bit too white. Excuse me? Now imagine if, I came from somewhere else and my skin tone was notably different. Would that still be an appropriate thing to say? Like I get it's like probably a meme and like I don't care, but like come on, dude. That's a weird thing to say. um I know he meant I'm pale. Like I don't I can appreciate it's not meant to be like a really negative comment like that. But I mean, it's just funny in my head. But I don't think it's you know, I don't like making a fuss about that kind of thing. Make fun of me if you want. Go for it. Uh you look a bit too white, as like you never saw sun since year. Since year? Which year? There's lots of years. I was alive in some of them, but not through others. Which year are you thinking of? 1972? 8 BC? What year are we talking here? Please delineate for me. What year did I not see the sun in? I'm just pale. Like, it's just the kind of skin that I have. I go outside every day to go to work pretty much. I just don't tan, I burn. So my skin pretty much stays this color. I'm sorry if that's incomprehensible or upsetting to you. Um, how long did it take you to grow that much hair? It just, my hair is really thick and it grows quite quickly. So not very long. Like, if I cut it, it will grow really quick for a couple of months. I don't know why it does that, but yeah, it's just really fast growing hair, just in me jeans, just in me jeans. I think that the light front of you making it. We are really struggling today. um, I can't grow facial hair really. It just doesn't really work with me. I don't have the don't know, genes for it. Um, yeah, could be funny though. I would say imagine me with a beard, but don't. I'd look horrible. Um, facial hair comes with age. Yeah, it does, which is why I should have some, but I don't. I'm so grey. I can't even show you. I went into the bathroom last night and I was like, oh man, I'm about to cry. Why am I? Why do I look like I'm 45? Terrible. Um. Anyway, game freezes on Mac. Help, please. Forum report. I can't do anything about that right now, but go to the forum. Um, you need to make sure you have your DX diag, your clog, and describe the issues. Send everything you can on there. It will get looked at. It will get processed, but you need to actually report that. There's nothing I can do about just there being a crash on Mac on freezers. You've got to report it. But if you do report it, it will get seen to. I work with the people who process bug reports. They work very, very hard. I know that because they have an awful lot to do. And so yeah, all the you can get all the information you need on the forum. It'll tell you what you need to submit, and you can do that there. So absolutely do that. They'll be able to help. Um, do you have a girlfriend? No. Chris, you have to feed the trolls to an extent because I mean, I don't know. It's fun. It's like heckling when you're doing comedy. And I don't know. Some people, like if it's a lazy insult, I'll ignore it. If it's kind of fun, and we can have a bit of fun with that. But I think in general, I don't mind. I mean, I'm a public person on the internet. My job is getting insulted. you know, as sad as that sounds. Um. Anyway, Milo is back. Let's go. We can all rejoice. How are you doing? How's it going? Ow. Um. Yeah, Mandroid. On the forum, there'll be a section for Mac-related crashes. If you go there, it'll tell you everything you need. There'll be a particular section. It'll go right to the developer who deals with that directly once you submit everything, and they will be able to help. Absolutely. Do you have any info on the next crafting event? Yes. I can't tell you anything, I'm afraid. Sorry. You'll be able to learn anything soon enough, though. Definitely. The trolls feed on you because you have the expression of a War Thunder Russian community manager. I don't, though, and I'm not sure where you're getting that from. That's a very interesting thing to say. Think you'll ever want kids? I guess, in some capacity. Be nice to have some chidlers. I just have loads of stuff I need to give away. Like all the, don't know, I have lots of rare stuff. Loads of rare music as well. Who am I going to give that to? And it'd be nice to have chids, you know, help, bring a person into the world who can be good. I like that. But probably not for a while. A fairly long while, I think. What tech tree do you recommend for starters? I always go for China. China has a lot of vehicles from other nations. You can get a taste of other trees, and if you find a vehicle you really, really like, you can adapt to that tree that has more vehicles that play similarly. But you do realize that could be abused out of context? What could be abused out of context? I mean, most things I say could be. That's partially why I say them. In general, I think you should play everything. My best starter advice is to play rank 1 of every nation and spade every vehicle. And from there, you get a good experience on what the game has to offer. And you learn the weaknesses of what you fight. You'll unlock and research stuff quickly. and in general have a pretty good experience. That's always what I would go for. Um, you can give them to me. Give what to you? My kids? Maybe. Oh no, I mean like I didn't even play into my head. In my head, it's just like I have loads of rare vinyls I want to give to someone who can sell them when they're like 100 years old or something, and other reasons. But I mean, I have cool stuff. I want it to go to someone I like. Yep, it's like I don't know. It's kind of lazy and boring to hate on China because like Le China bad, you know, he meme. Uh, it achieves nothing. China's good for starter nations, and I mean, a lot of the vehicles are found in other trees. That's not exactly a bad thing in general. And at the same time, it's like if it's like such a contentious issue that you don't want to play those vehicles, then you don't need to play China. you know, you don't have like me behind you threatening to like beat you up if you don't play it. Not that I could beat you up anyway. Have you seen my arms? They're tiny. I can barely lift myself up. Well, actually, I'm doing workouts now. Well, more workouts than I used to. Well, they're not really on my arms. I have small arms. Um, but yeah. Mm. Hey Tom, do we gonna have more variants for the Abrams in the future update? Maybe soon. I don't know when and what update they'll come, but I think we will never have. Well, we will have more Abrams tanks in the future. Absolutely. Don't know when, but we probably will. Is Mike your trainer? No. Spaghetti arms? Yeah, they're quite. There's not really much to my arms. I can't really show them very much, but eh, who cares? Where are you from? I am from Kent in the UK. Um, you don't need to play China, but you do have to play against them. Yeah, yeah. Spaghetti arms is good. Less arm pump when riding a dirt bike. I guess it also means like I have really tiny hands, and it also means that I can clean all the cups. I can fit my entire hand in a Pringles tube. It's all fine. I can clean like everything really effectively. It's great. You know, having like tree trunk arms is you know super 70s. Uh, fellow Kentish man. Hell yeah, Scott. Where are you from? Where in Kent are you from? Maybe we like hung out in the same areas. I love your glassy eyes. That's brilliant. Um, an old woman in my old town once said the same thing to me. She said that I had eyes and a face like a doll she used to own when she was younger, like this porcelain doll she had. She was about 90, and she was outside like a postcard collecting fair that I went to. And yep, I know. My eyes are weird. They're really big. I don't know why I have really big eyes. Big and green. Fetch me the Pringle boy. Yes. I was about to do a Pringle boy voice, but then I thought I'd probably get punched. Sire, the Pringle is not available today. There's a whole skit we could do with this. I wish this was more like popular so we could get people to like animate stupid stuff like this. This could be really fun. Oh man, that would be great. Um yeah, anyway. From Folkestone, very nice. I went to Folkestone a couple of times. I explored an abandoned hospital in Folkestone. That was one of the last times I went there. I can't remember which hospital it was. One of the big abandoned ones. I went there. Uh, Nearly set off the PIR alarm, but didn't, and it was fine. And it was also ages ago, but yeah. Folkestone's quite nice, actually. Me and my friend hung out at the old hovercraft hangar for a while. Who are you spectating? This is my footage. My footage. Yeah, don't mind Folkestone. Do you ever go to the War and Peace show? War and Peace show, I go like every year. Incredible time. I want to hang out with people there, but I don't go with anyone, which is a shame. I has to pour out the Pringles can like a caveman. Oh, dude. It's okay. You can hire me to be your, Pringles goblin. That's my future. Um, you know the place? Yeah, I went there for an explore a couple of times. Very good stuff. Got to get ready for school. Good talk, Oxy. Well, Mr. Grant, have a lovely day at school. Hope it all goes well. Thank you for coming by. Much appreciated. Where is it normally? It's Christ, where it keeps moving. It used to be at the old racetrack in Folkestone, and now it's at the hop farm, I think, nearby. If you look up the War and Peace show, War and Peace Revival, you'll find it. It's like the biggest military festival in the world. It wasn't open last year because of Corona, but should be open again soon. Um, Really cool place. I get a lot of stock for my shop there. Um, I'm willing to wash your car and do your laundry for a year to get your music stuff. I can't drive, but that's very sweet of you. Thank you. Petition for a Chinese M476. If they used one, hell yeah. What's your shop? I have my Etsy shop where I sold framed World War II memorabilia, like aircraft diagrams, advertisements, training manuals, artwork, that kind of thing. Aircraft, tanks, ships, aircraft recognition, classified stuff, which is not technically declassified, but sort of. I don't know. The government never got annoyed at me, even though I did sell some actually classified stuff once, um, like modern army training manuals and that kind of thing. Like how to use particular firearms. I have some of the like I don't know where I got them from. There was this job lot of like 50 army training manuals from like 2010 that were still classified, and it's like pick these up from my house for like £5. Okay, I'll do that. These are amazing. Where did you get them? My mum got them for me. Okay, I'll take them now and never talk to you again. I have all those and they're very cool. Uh, yeah, some cool stuff. I want to start it up again when I can. Churchill with 75. When? We need the Churchill Mark IV with the Sicilian modification of the M3 75 gun. That's the tank I want. Churchill with APHE? Yes to the please, dude. That's what I'm about. Yeah, Bob, if you look up ephemerical on Google, you'll probably find my shop. You should be able to get some pictures of the stuff I sold. Have you ever considered making a stream podcast with Skinners? Maybe. I mean, I'm up for doing any kind of thing. Excuse me. Anything like that, really. If it involves engaging with the community, let's go. We need Churchill AVRE. It could be fun. It needs to be balanced properly and put in a position where it's hang on, Bob, I will send it to you. I'll send it you, Bob, don't worry. Yeah, I'd like to see it. I like things in this game that make you approach the game differently. Um, Here we go. I won't post the link because, I mean, self-aggrandizing. But Bob, that's the name. If you go on there, you can see pictures of, like, from reviews that I've got. And from there, you can get an idea. The SAS can try. Um, yeah, just give it a Google. It's the first thing that comes up because no one apart from me was stupid enough to name their shop Ephemerical. Um, yeah. I'm nearly finished line, but actually we've gone over by over half an hour. This is a long stream. Lom- When all vehicle questions get ignored, kind of sus. Is there a word missing there? I can't read that. When all vehicle questions get ignored. Huh. What am I missing there? Will the B-52 come in the near future? Probably not for a very long time if it would. It's a really cool plane. I don't think it's like, I wouldn't say it's like 100% never ever coming, but I don't think the game is equipped to deal with it right now. If it were to come to the game, it'll probably be like, years and years and years off, but I don't know. I really don't know. But from my perspective, I don't think we can have a vehicle like that right now. Why did I do that? Don't know. When is the crafting event? Quite soon. You'll see some details soon. Will we get another Leopard 2 variant in the future? Probably in the future. If there's some cool variants still existing. I don't think it's impossible. Absolutely. Oh, thanks, Bob. Yeah, I have lots more where that came from. It's all original. Everything I sell is original. Nothing's repro. Everything is original from the 40s, some from the 50s, some from the 70s of its later stuff. Um, yeah. When I'm able to run the shop again, and or if I move back to the UK, you let me know if there's anything you're interested in. I'll make you something up. Etsy is cool. I got a 2.5 meter long Milo tick plushie. That's really sweet. Yeah, I want to get a Sylveon plush. Sylveon's cute. It's nice colors. I like the colors a lot. Nice plug. I wouldn't say it's a plug because the shop's been closed for over a year and probably will be for another few years, so no one could even buy anything from it if they wanted to. But yeah. In the future though, that's my what I want to do in the future. What I'd like to do if I ever retire from Gaijin, which I probably will in the future, is rent out a storefront shop in my town in Margate, like, and have a friend or like just someone to, I don't know, whether it's someone to be with or just like work with, and just run a shop where I frame old stuff with someone. I probably could save enough money to do it, but I'd need an assistant. Not an assistant, but like that sounds, just someone who wouldn't mind framing stuff with me all day in a shop. That could be fun. That's my what I want to do after all this stuff when everything's a bit quieter. Fu will be my assistant. Yeah, but he's like 4'11", little Yorkshireman. I love Fu very much, but I'd love that. Hey up, come in, sit shop. Want to buy lovely stuff from 40s? Have a look at this one on wall there. Only 25 bar. I'd love that. Little Foof. I love Foof very much. Yeah, it would be sweet. It would be kind of cute. I guess like if I ever end up getting with someone, I'd like to run the shop with them, and we can just like hang out in like a old seaside town all day and sell old stuff. That'd be nice. That's my goal, I think, for the future. Not for a while. I mean, I want to. There's still a lot of stuff I want to do here, but for the future. Um, Blue Mac, yes, I live in Germany right now. Yep. If the mouse comes, you can't tell. I can't. I don't know if it will. If it will, if it won't. But last time it came around for War Thunder's birthday, it might come around again. I really don't know. I really don't know. But maybe, maybe, maybe. It would be very cozy. Yeah, I like that. I like cozy things. It's my jam. Bit of cozy. Um, hmm. Pringles Goblin can be my part-time job. I can be hired out on weekends. Yep. Sometimes I say words. Um, BT-42 is interesting, yeah. It could be an interesting little vehicle to have. I don't know if it will. It comes to game, but I think, it's popular, so probably will at some point. Gotta go, Jim. Thank you for the stream. May the biggest gains come to you, brother. Or sister. Whatever you prefer. Thank you for coming by. Much appreciated. Nice to have you here. Yeah, I've been to Tank Fest a few times. Like 3 times, I think. It's always fun. Although very warm, and I melt. I have an unbearably high metabolism, so my body gets really warm a lot. So in the heat, I just die. Just absolutely die. Terrible. Um, Zach, you're welcome. You can come over. We can have like a Minecraft joke luncheon, if you like. I have more background footage, but I mean, I can't spend all of my time at work playing the game. I need to do stuff. When I have like a free hour or whatever, I'll get some more footage. But for now, this is it. There is the aircraft one as well, but I'll play that next time maybe. Do you think they'll ever fix the hilariously elevated airfields on a lot of maps? Maybe. Yep. I don't know. I think it's something that's it's obviously wrong, but it's not the highest of priority. I think because the airfields still function, they just look goofy. Um, so yeah, maybe they will be worked on at some point, but I don't know. I have no idea on this sort of I guess timeline of that kind of thing. I'm afraid. Uh, where's our Sherman skink? You say that like you already own it or are entitled to it. It's not your skink. It's a skink that may or may not come to the game. Maybe it will. Maybe not. We'll see. Hey up. I've riled him. I've riled the mans. He's come up here, come into stream. Have a go. I like you very much. Please don't bully. Um. Well, this year it was in September. Today, way cooler. Still sunny. Yeah, cool. I might go in a few years, I guess, like when it's a bit different. Because I usually go for like the 3 days, and after like the first day, it's like, well, I've seen all this before, and it's too hot and expensive to hang out with people, so I'll just go to the bar and get really drunk and then sleep for the last day. Lol. Uh, yeah. I'll go in the future though. Mm. Sometimes your words feel sussy. Okay, that's fine. What is that? Is that comment even in English? Every word is. I don't know. I'll stop reading that now, otherwise my brain will break. What's the best catchphrase for a Yorkshireman? Uh, tin 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 is always the best one. By far, it's the best one. Always. Um, tin 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 tin, which is to say, my tin tin is not in the tin tin tin. Will we get hit cam for planes at some point? I don't know what the benefit of that would be really. It would just show that like one round hit a critical point after a certain amount of time. It wouldn't really be indicative of what you did wrong or how the enemy beat you. I don't know what actual gameplay application it would have. Maybe it'll be a good. I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be a detriment in any way, but I don't think it would really add too much personally. Um, what do you think of really gamey things like shooting out barrels? Do you think it ruins the fun a bit? It sort of goes against the thematics of actual tank combat, but at the same time, I don't think that's necessarily objectively a bad thing. I mean, in real life, it would be possible to blow a barrel off a tank and disable them offensively. It just so happens that it's much easier to do in the game. And we make compromises like that in the same way that the comet doesn't randomly explode or melt the pilot, or the Ferdinand doesn't catch fire. There are things that we kind of take liberties for that are easier to do in game and harder to do in game, or not even present. That kind of thing. Or like your driver can still work while being shot in the foot with a 20 mil. There's it's like, I think for a game there are certain liberties to take, and that's kind of one of them for me. Is that a 76 jumbo? Nope, that's a 75. I just want more swimming tanks in game. I agree. Every comment you post, I will read in that voice. I hope you know that. Yeah, I'd like that too. Some more amphibious stuff. We need some swimming Shermans. The correct answer was that you don't like it, but that's fine. Well, I mean, I think for some tanks it's important. I mean, it's one of those things that would mean that some tanks would need to be moved a little bit, I think. Because, I mean, for the jumbo, you can basically beat everything at close range by shooting the barrel. And I think for some tanks, it's all you can really do. And for the sake of it being a video game, a barrel is like a weak spot. It's like hitting the cupola. And, you know, it's annoying, but it's not necessarily an invalid tactic. You get hit in the cupola, it disables the turret crew, you're still hitting a tiny spot. Can you say happy birthday to my friend Nick? Happy birthday, Nick. Much love. Hope you have a lovely day. Having the weird in Sherman as a decoration is such a cruel tease. I agree. But the model exists. Make destroying the barrel detonate the ammo to make everyone mad. Yeah. Perhaps. Hmm. I'm not sure about my content creator decal. I don't know. I'm not really good at that kind of thing. I'll think of something in 100 years. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, eh? You should talk in that proper English accent more often. Do you mean the Yorkshire one? Or do you mean the quintessential received pronunciation accent? Thank you, webcamschat.com, hot girls and boys video chat, for posting 2 exclamation marks in the chat there. It's very cool of you. What's your favourite tank in War Thunder? I expect an answer. What's your favourite tank? Let me know. I'm waiting. No? Okay. Well, that's a shame. I'm not sure that would be a great April Fool's. That may upset some people. Is there any vehicle you've been directly involved in development? Technically, yes, there's a couple. Some. Which? Secret, because they have not appeared yet. Yeah, my War Thunder decal should just be like a link to my SoundCloud. Like, oh, that would be really funny though. I could never do it because I mean, embarrassing, but it would be kind of fun. Oxy, I love you. I love you too, FBI. ASMR rap. I mean, I do have like a couple of my secret channels where I do the voiceover stuff, but it's not strictly ASMR-y, but it has elements, I guess. Yeah, Tank RB used to have friendly fire, but it was removed. How many years you already play Way Thunder? I've never played Way Thunder, but I've been playing War Thunder since I think very late 2012 on the first account that I shared with Fremb. Catboy laying eggs. Someone did come up with a good one, which was me as a catboy holding up a sign saying "This is the future you chose," which I find quite funny. That could be quite fun. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, you can still TK by bombing someone, but you used to be able to shoot people and they'd, so you take out the Scorpion or like the M16 and someone would just strafe you out in the spawn and you die, which was kind of gross, but artsy as well, yeah. Hummel, yeah, I'd like to see it. I like vehicles like that that make you approach the game a bit different. So that could be fun. I don't know if we'll ever see it though, but it'd be nice if we did. I think this, yeah, like we had a shared account back before War Thunder even had rules. So I guess it was fine back then. Sexton? Archer with 120mm Rheinmetall, L44? Nodders. World War One tanks when? Probably not. They wouldn't really work together. I don't think. I missed the old hanging music. Yeah, old hanging music was nice, but I think it was just to avoid copyright. In that, like, content creators were getting copyright striked, even though Gaijin owns the rendition of the music, it would always get picked up by like auto report stuff on YouTube. So it gone, it gone. Yeah, Scriv, that's the one. We wanted to name it Tom Callum, but as you can tell, he was not very up for doing that, and so now I'm cursed with that email forever. Actually, I'm not. I can just change it myself. Why don't I do that? Um, yeah, a shame, but at least it's kind of funny. Returns from the nap, the one nap to rule them all. I can't nap. My body gets too warm. Um, it's a shame. Oxy being a potato again? Excuse me? Why this? Why am I being a potato? Um, well, we are winding down soon, I think. Ow, my chest. Ow, my chest. It's not meant to do that. It's not meant to make those noises. Ow. That's a disaster. My body also has not temperature regulation while sleeping. Yeah, sometimes like if I ever was waking up next to someone or sleeping with someone, I wake up in the night and they were like, "Yo, you're burning." Like, yeah, it's like having really high metabolism, I think. So I just get really warm. Like if I like eat or drink something with a lot of fiber in it, it just like it makes my body unbearably warm, and it's really really annoying. So yeah, kind of sucks, but I can't really nap. What to do with your chest? I don't know. I'm quite don't know breakable. I think. Uh, I think I felt like if I got punched in the chest, my heart would probably stop. That's really bad. Probably not, but today I'm just very clicky. Need some softness. Get some push-ups done. Maybe I need to like get my a wider yoga mat. I'm doing my 100 squats every evening and all the leg stuff in the morning. That's going well. Liking that. Um, Worst con of a ground vehicle? I think it depends on what BR and like where it's really playing. Because at like 11.0, you could say it would be not having a stabilizer, and like a mid tier, you could say it would be like having no armor or no reverse gear or something. So I think it depends. I'm not sure. Sure. Are you paid to make War Thunder stream, or is that just pleaser? Uh, well, I mean, I am being paid in the workday to do this, so I guess by definition I'm being paid to do it. Yeah. I don't like Oxy. He's long and lanky. I'm not really though. I'm quite small. What am I? I'm like 173 centimeters tall. I'm not really that tall. Um, but yeah, I'm quite little, I suppose. You should do 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups, followed by a 2.6 mile run. I do my leg stuff. I do squats. Do a run maybe, and I do half an hour of hooping. I like hula hooping. I don't need to leave the house to do it. But yeah, so I do a lot of stuff. I'm not really that. I'm not really that small. Like short. Like I'm not short. I guess I'm just very average. I think I am literally the average height. So um, I can't feel my feet when I lay down. That makes sense. Unless you mean that you lose feeling in them, in which case, you know, maybe, maybe do some. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what to say to that. Make sure you. No, I'm going to end that sentence now. What's your height and weight? I'm like 173 centimeters, and I weigh like. I've been eating less recently because I'm trying to get way more fiber. I weigh like. Last time I got weighed, I was like 102 pounds. I'm probably like between like 100 and 105 pounds, maybe less. I don't think I'm less now. I don't know, but yeah. Uh, yes, M19OP perhaps. I don't mind it. I think it's tricky to use in the AA role because of its well, how weak it is and stuff. It's in the right spot, in like the perfect spot, you can do a lot with it. No, you are worth way more than 102 pounds. Lol, 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 lol. That's very good though. Um, why did it take so long to rename the M19? Probably because no one reported it. Um, yeah, I probably won't. I mean, I don't think I'd suit short hair really. I think I've just sort of had long hair for so long. 50-ish kilograms. That's a bit low in it. That's relative. I'm not exactly unhealthy. I eat very well. I just don't eat that much. No fat, no sugar anymore. Apart from like the occasional sort of beverage that I have. Make a ponytail. I can kind of put my hair up a little bit, but then I end up having like Geralt hair, and it looks weird. um, but yeah, I can have like a little one, but anyway, um, I feel like we're talking a bit too much about me and not enough about War Thunder, and I feel very self-aggrandizing right now. Uh, what other War Thunder stuff is there, please? Um, he's a Witcherer. Yeah, man. If it's like I don't know, if one of the monsters in that universe like breathed on me, I'd fall over. So new gun sounds are cool. They are, Milo. They are. They're very cool. I like the sounds a lot. We know too much things about War Thunder. Bombay, you do know too much things about War Thunder. That's certainly for sure. What skincare products do you use? I use a couple of moisturizers. I can't remember the names of them, but I put those on. Uh, bit of I use a nice Dead Sea salt scrub sometimes. Very rarely though, otherwise it makes your skin fall off. But yeah, do some stuff sometimes. Not all the time though. But bit of day cream can work a little bit. Um, mm, mm, mm. Oh, Ben, oh, we don't mind me. Thank you very much. That's really sweet. Thank you. I'm glad you like them very much. Nodders. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you. Um, skincare tutorial. I mean, can you imagine the bullying I'd get if I did that? I mean, I think if the people who follow my YouTube channel knew what I looked like in general, I would have no subscribers. I just look weird. That's like the biggest comment. When I first got this, they were, I don't know, bad. I want to firewash my face. Um, which vehicle in War Thunder most resembles you? I have no idea. What's the least played tank in War Thunder at the moment? Not sure. I haven't looked. I think it's probably something low tier, I would say. Something that doesn't really garner much use. I'm not sure. Uh, no pen when it would. Leaving guys in Navy, don't giving any kill. Sunking ship, don't give any kills. Is that a haiku? If so, that's very nice. Might put that on a fridge magnet. If I met you IRL, I would not throw up immediately. That's nice of you to say, I think. Maybe. Thanks. Zag, shush, no. You're not meant to notice those things about me. That's illegal. Um, okay. Okay. Okay, okay, okay. Trying to catch up on comments that I've missed. Sorry. We need longer hair, Oxy? Are you sure you want that? It would change a lot of things. Um, best beginner tank tech tree? I always go with China, is my answer. Um, just really for the reason that because it contains so many vehicles of other nations, you can play through and you can pick, well, you can identify a vehicle. It's like, this one I like. This is good. This fits me. You can then migrate to the tree that has more of that vehicle, and then you're playing through something you like. Because for example, if you pick the US and you get up to like you know 5060 and you realize these tanks or these planes aren't for me, you might feel like you've lost time. But China gives you the ability to like dabble, and so you can adapt quite quickly from that, which is good. And that's what I would go with as the beginner nation, China. Very methodical clapping there. That sounded much more hostile than I meant. Sorry. Oh, it's okay. You don't need to apologize. That's okay. I understand. Um, I don't believe there's any updates on the PvE mode right now. I think from what I know, it's like functionally, it's all the assets are done. It needs optimizing, I think, and that's where the work's going right now, from what I understand. But I don't know. It's been a long time since I've heard much about it, but I think that's probably the case right now. I would say. Um, have you played the IAR 81C? Yes, I quite like it, but I don't think it's that great, especially for ARB. It's a bit too sluggish. It's not really fast enough or maneuverable enough to reliably fight a lot of enemies. There are some enemies that you can't really counter at all. But if you get a good bit of altitude, you can do a lot of work with it, but in general, it's not the best. For tanks, it's a bit better. You get the 210 rockets and the bomb, which is pretty good. But in general, it's not the yeah, it's a little tricky for a vehicle that you're paying for. You want versatility, and I think the IA doesn't really do that. But it's still fun. I like it, but admittedly, you will fight enemies you can't do much against, which I think is the issue. I'd love to invite you to the Tank Museum in Soma. Soma, I can't say. That'd be very nice. Yeah, I'd like to go. Yeah, I haven't been to that one before. Oh, the dream tank date. Obviously not. That's not what I'm inferring, but you know, isn't that what everyone wants? Uh, What's your favorite BR range? I'm not sure really. Generally, I like anything that's like between like 3.0 and 8.3. In that I think the lower tiers and the higher tiers are too homogenized and the vehicles perform a bit too similarly. So I like everything that's a bit more varied. I don't really have like a set BR that I like disparately to all the others. But yeah, that would be nice. Well, that'd be nice. Those BRs are nice, basically. I like those. Will you do cosplays? I've done some before, but not for a while. I'm in a couple of cosplay music videos for MCM. If you can spot me, I look a lot very different. You probably wouldn't be able to see like notice me. My face is the same though. Well, is it? Sort of is. If you were really looking, you could see me, but I don't think you'd recognize me. Um, Submarines in the game are a must. I would disagree with for many reasons. You should do a maid cosplay. Maybe for charity. I'm playing vegan right now. That's cool. I hope you're having fun. Why is the Dicker Max at like 3 point something when it should be at like 5.3? Why should it be 5.3? Its gun is very good, but its gun will be good at, well, 3.7 and 5.3 at the same time. That doesn't mean that its other limitations garner a higher BR. It's very, very slow, very weak, and with a long reload. So, despite having a great gun, it's not performing very well and it doesn't perform very well. It's never going to be like overpowered at its BR because of the reload and its, well, poor survivability and poor mobility. In the same way that the Stera Mill was 6.3 when it first came out, and now it's like 4.3. Um, I got all the camos for the Stera when it was at 6.3 as well. That was a fun time. But yeah, it's not always about the gun at all. At all. Um, why the ships carry depth charges? You can knock out regular ships with them pretty easily if you get close. You can like leather a destroyer if you can sneak up on it with a like a fast ship. I've done that many a time. It's very very fun. I've been going for 3 hours. 3 hours? No wonder no one's. Sorry. Um, I will probably cut this quite soon. Maybe when the footage ends, because yeah, I feel like we've probably overextended the time of these, and I don't think we've spoken about War Thunder enough. Um, yeah, maybe that's my fault partially, but still, hopefully it's been a relatively not bad time. Um, what's your favorite tea? I quite like Earl Grey and Lady Grey. They're quite fun and nice. Synonymous. Um, I do well with it when I put it with my Tiger H and Panther D. Yeah, I mean it's a tank that's not limited by BR. You can play the Dicker Max at like 6.3, 6.7, and you'll still get kills with it. It doesn't mean that it should be at a lower or higher BR because of that. In the same way that you can play like the KB2 at 11.0 or the Ho like the Ho what is it? My brain's completely gone. The Horo at like 5.0, 5.7 and still kill stuff. It doesn't mean it should be at that BR. It's about the other factors involved that sort of work out where it's placed. Um, mm, have you ever met Bruce? I haven't met Bruce personally, but I've spoken to him a lot. Well, not a lot, but a bit, and by proxy. I help write some of the scripts that he uses. So we have some interaction, but I don't know him too well. I'd like to know him more, though. He's a very nice guy. Lovely fella. Lovely fella. Keep forgetting how far behind YouTube is. Bless them. By proxy, Oxy. Yes. That'd be a good rename for me. Death by Proxy. Was it Suicide by Proxy? Wasn't that a book? Can't remember. Yes. Anyway, I suppose we should probably vacate soon. Might be wise for me to go soon since it's 1 a.m. Perhaps it may be. You should have a good sleep. And then you can cuddle with your plush, which sounds very soft. And I need a Sylveon plush. That's what I need. Definitely drop my phone. That is what I need. One day I'll get one. Maybe. They're probably really expensive. Yes. Maybe I will investigate this. I will pick up my phone now. And I'm back. Hello. I'm getting notifications from my Discord, which is never a good sign. No, I don't have any notifications from my Discord. Why are you lying? Okay, well, sure. Oh well. Don't join my Discord, by the way. It's all about feet. It's not. It was for a bit. Anyway, let's let's wind the down then, I suppose, and call it today because we have gone off the rails and it's not really much about War Thunder anymore, and that's that ain't that great, I suppose. Anyway, yeah. Sorry if it sort of derailed a little bit by the end. I don't think I spoke enough about the game, which is a shame. I'll endeavour to do that more next time. It's all on the chat. You got to ask me more War Thunder stuff, and not about, I don't know, other things. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah. That's, well, the words. I've lost them all now. I've run out of tea, and so my brain is giving up for the day, I think. Oh, it's okay, Milo. I mean, you can. I don't mind really. You can ask me just about anything you want, and we can talk about it. It's just that I worry sometimes that this is kind of straying away from its purpose. But I guess it doesn't really need to be like that. You know, you can ask me whatever. That's okay. But I mean, you don't. You can ask me stuff off stream as well if you want. Well, you don't need to, of course. Like, if you want, just ask me stuff on Discord or whatever. It's all good. We can talk about whatever. Anyway, lovely having a chat. Lovely having a chat with you too. Thank you all for being here. Yeah, sorry if I missed any of your comments. It's, you know, there's a lot to kind of read through and stuff, so I will miss stuff sometimes. So apologies for that. But thank you all for being here, and next time, if I can, I'll make sure to read your comments. So yeah, thank you very much for coming by, spending this, in some instances, 3 hours, I guess. Hopefully you haven't been here for that long. But yeah, thanks for being here. Hope you've had a nice time. Hope you have a lovely day, lovely week. And I will see you on Thursday for the War Thunder stream. So yeah, until then, have a lovely day.